Chapter 953. The Chakravarti king had been killed by Ling Xiao, and the Yellow Springs god-slaying formation had been destroyed with a single punch. The paragons were so frightened that they had completely lost their will to fight. Run. Seeing that the Chakravarti king was dead, the paragons immediately used their powerful movement techniques to flee in all directions. You want to run? You're all going to stay. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. Naturally, he would not show mercy to these people who wanted to kill him. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's entire body was glowing with golden light. He actually turned into dozens of golden lightning bolts in an instant. He was so fast that he chased after the fleeing supreme beings. Boom! 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 None of the paragons, from 1st to 9th level, could withstand a single blow from Ling Xiao. They exploded one after another, and were devoured by the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron. None of the 36 paragons managed to escape. They had all died at Ling Xiao's hands. The flesh, blood, and nascent divinities of the 36 paragons were refined by the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron, turning into the purest energy that nourished Ling Xiao's fleshly body. Although it did not help him achieve a breakthrough, it did strengthen his cultivation base. The ambush was a complete failure. In the end, the Chakravarti king had underestimated Ling Xiao. In the Chakravarti king's opinion, although Ling Xiao could kill General Heaven Duke and General Earth Duke, his true battle prowess was only at the pinnacle of human Tao. With the Chakravarti king's half-step godly cultivation base, he should have been able to crush Ling Xiao easily. Who would have thought that the Chakravarti king, even with his half-step godly battle prowess and the grand wheel art, would still die at Ling Xiao's hands? Fortunately, the Chakravarti king was a cautious person. The Chakravarti king that came this time was only a clone that carried a portion of his power. As for his fundamental godhood, it didn't show up. Even so, even though it was just a clone, it still had 50% of the Chakravarti king's battle prowess. It was hard for him to accept such a crushing defeat. Jiotian, I'm really curious. Why do you want to kill me? Since that's the case, don't blame me for being impolite. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent as he looked in the direction of the dark north capital of the Empire of Nine Serenities. There seemed to be an incomparably powerful figure looking at him through the layers of void space. General Heaven Duke and General Earth Duke were sent by Jiotian. The Chakravarti king was also one of Jiotian's men. Jiotian had tried to target Ling Xiao a few times, which made Ling Xiao angry and murderous. Whoosh! Ling Xiao used the void shifting technique and left the place in an instant, heading towards Fenshan Valley at an extremely fast speed. 10 days later, Ling Xiao traversed a distance of hundreds of millions of miles, and finally arrived at an unfamiliar region. In front of him was a huge mountain range. Every mountain was tens of thousands of feet tall, reaching into the clouds. Moreover, they emitted a boundless aura. For some reason, Ling Xiao actually felt the aura of an extraterrestrial demon from this mountain range. Senior, this mountain range is called the Alchemy Demon Mountain Range, and Fenshan Valley is in the center. Legend has it that it was the site of the ancient war of gods and demons. Millions of years ago, countless extraterritorial demons were killed by the experts of the reincarnation world. Therefore, this place was fraught with danger, and very few people dared to come here. The Pangu clan is hiding in Fenshan Valley. Pangyang explained to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was about to say something, but suddenly his eyes flickered. He instantly withdrew his aura and landed on an ancient tree with Pangyang. The aura around him was mysterious and unfathomable. In an instant he merged with the ancient tree as one. Even the divine consciousness of a supreme being expert could not detect him. Third Prince, we only caught an ordinary expert of the Pangu clan. I'm afraid we can't capture the Pangu clan without putting up a fight, right? It's a pity that the young clan leader of the Pangu clan was also captured. If we can capture him, we will definitely be able to break through Fenshan Valley in one fell swoop. An old voice was heard, and a group of figures with powerful auras flew over from afar. The leader was a young man wearing a dark golden dragon robe with a jade crown on his head. He looked very heroic and had an extraordinary bearing. However, his face was very gloomy, with a malicious aura. His eyes were like a venomous snake, causing people to feel a chill in their hearts. His cultivation had already reached LV4 Supreme Realm. Beside him was an old man in a black robe. He looked very skinny and emitted a cold aura. His eyes were cloudy, but there was a piercing sword light flashing in them. He was unfathomable and his cultivation had already reached LV9 Supreme Realm. Behind the two of them were over a dozen black armored guards with powerful auras. They were guarding a crimson war chariot. On the war chariot was a huge dark golden cage. It was engraved with all kinds of mysterious runes and restrictions. A burly man covered in wounds was imprisoned in the cage. The burly man looked to be 100 feet tall. His muscles looked like they were made of gold and iron. He exuded a majestic aura of vitality. His face was covered in blood, and his bright eyes were filled with hatred. He looked very wild. However, his bones were penetrated by several huge iron chains. He could not exert any strength at all. "Second uncle?" Peng Guyang exclaimed in his heart. Immediately, a trace of anxiety appeared in his eyes. "You know him?" Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he transmitted his voice to Peng Guyang. "That's right. Brother Ling, this is my second uncle. His name is Peng Guyan. He must have come out to look for me. Then, he was captured by the bastards from the metropolis. That guy is called Du Tianshan. He is the third son of King Dushi. He is usually sinister and cunning. He is very vicious and has won the trust of King Dushi. They must be trying to use my second uncle to threaten the Pangu clan. Senior, please save my second uncle." Peng Guyang's eyes were full of pleading. Even though he had been kept into the small world by Ling Xiao previously, he had witnessed the battle between Ling Xiao and the Chakravarti king. Even the Chakravarti king and the 36 supreme martial artists were no match for Ling Xiao. In the end, they were all killed by Ling Xiao. Peng Guyang was full of blind worship and confidence in Ling Xiao. All right. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. If he could save Peng Guyan, he could also inquire about the situation in Fenshan Valley. However, Ling Xiao clearly felt that something was wrong. Du Tianshan had openly suppressed Peng Guyan and was heading towards Fenshan Valley. He did not conceal his aura at all. Ling Xiao felt that there was a conspiracy. Could it be that he wanted to use Peng Guyan as bait? Rumble. At this moment, the surrounding mountains trembled and the earth rumbled. In an instant, more than a dozen burly men with powerful auras rushed out of the mountains and charged towards Du Tianshan. Dai Du Tianshan. Chapter 954. The dozen burly men were all at least 100 feet tall, like a dozen small mountains. Their bodies emitted a murderous aura, and each of them was as bright as the sun. All of them had the combat strength of a supreme, and were charging towards Dutian Mountain. These dozen burly men were all experts of the Pangu clan. When Dutian Mountain saw the dozen experts of the Pangu clan, there was no fear in his eyes. Instead, there was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Ling Xiao immediately knew that this was indeed a trap set by Dutian Mountain. 19th uncle? He's here to save second uncle. 19th uncle is the closest to second uncle. This bastard Dutian Mountain is dead meat. Peng Guyang's eyes fell on the leading burly man, and he was pleasantly surprised. The leading burly man was wearing a tiger skin, and was a head taller than the others. His muscles were as if they were cast in gold, and his aura was surging, exuding an incomparably powerful force. The sharpness in his eyes seemed to be able to break the world. Not necessarily. I'm afraid this is a trap set by Dutian Mountain to lure the Pangu clan. Ling Xiao shook his head and said, "What?" Peng Guyang's body trembled. When he saw Dutian Mountain's calm eyes, he immediately knew that something bad was about to happen. He hurriedly said anxiously, "Senior, please save them." "Don't worry. Let's wait and see. I'll do it," Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Only then did Peng Guyang calm down. Peng Guyang knew that Ling Xiao's combat strength was terrifying. As long as King Dushi did not come in person, no trap could trap Ling Xiao. In front of powerful strength, the so-called schemes and tricks were just a joke. "I knew that you idiots would come to save him," Dutian Mountain said with a cold smile. His expression was incomparably calm. Rumble. Suddenly, the void trembled. Black divine chains of order broke through the void like black thunderbolts and intertwined into a mysterious giant net, trapping the dozen experts of the Pangu clan in an instant. 4 terrifying figures descended, each of them exuding a terrifying aura. Their bodies were filled with murderous intent. 4 titled supreme beings. In order to ambush the experts of the Pangu clan, Dutian Mountain had set up a trap with 4 titled supreme beings. How generous! Ah! This time, there are so many experts of the Pangu clan. If Fenshin Valley doesn't open the door and surrender, I'll kill one every day until the Pangu clan surrenders. Du Tianshan's eyes were filled with viciousness as he laughed complacently. Boom! After a brief moment of panic, the dozen or so experts of the Pangu clan immediately revealed a strong and resolute fighting spirit in their eyes, especially the leader of the group, Pangujin. He let out a roar that shook the heavens and the earth, then threw a punch at the black net. Dutian Mountains, Dutian Mountain, Dutian Mountain. Pangujin's eyes were filled with rage. His fist radiance was heavy and ancient. When it hit the net trembled violently. Countless runes exploded, as if it would break at any time. Generals, please capture them all alive. Dutian Mountain was shocked. He hurriedly said to the 4 figures in the void. The black net was an incomplete divine artifact, and it was said that it could even control a titled supremacy. The Pangu clan only had strong physical bodies, and the strongest of them was only at the 9th level of the supremacy realm. Very few of them had the battle prowess of a titled supremacy. However, when Pangujin was enraged, the power he could unleash was extremely terrifying. Senior, the 4 of them are the 4 top generals under King Dusher. They all have the combat strength of a titled supreme being. I'm afraid Uncle is no match for them. Pangu Yang's eyes revealed a hint of worry. Boom. At this moment, the 4 figures in the void moved. They slapped their palms down at the same time. 4 huge palm prints, which were like mountains, pressed down on the experts of the Pangu clan. At the same time, the giant black net shone brightly. Its aura skyrocketed and began to shrink. No matter how Pangujin and the others struggled and attacked, they could not break the giant black net. Just as the 4 palm prints were about to seriously injure Pangujin, a finger shot out. A sparkling and translucent finger flew through the air, containing an indestructible power. It was like a heavenly pillar, instantly shattering the 4 palms at the same time. Crack. The finger was dazzling to the extreme. After breaking through the 4 palm prints, it instantly fell on the black net. Immediately the net exploded, and more than 10 experts of the Pangu clan were freed in an instant. Who is it? Du Tianshan's body trembled as an incomparably grave expression appeared in his eyes. The finger had broken the palm of the 4 top generals. This strength was extremely terrifying. It was even more terrifying than a titled supreme being. Could it be that a king from one of the palaces had arrived? But it should not be. At this sensitive time when the reincarnation sacrificial ceremony was about to begin, the kings of the 10 palaces kept each other in check. No one dared to act rashly. In the void, the eyes of the 4 top generals revealed a trace of coldness. Instantly, they followed the traces of the attack and saw Ling Xiao and Panguyang on the ancient tree. Ling Xiao and Panguyang did not continue to hide their tracks. They flew across the sky and appeared in front of Dutian Mountain, and the others in an instant. Du Tianshan looked at Ling Xiao doubtfully. This white-haired young man in white looked calm and indifferent. The aura around him was very strong, but his cultivation was only at the 6th level of the sovereign realm. How did he break the 4 ultimate generals' palm print? Little Yang. Is it really you? Little Yang. Pangujin and the others were also very confused. They did not know Ling Xiao, but when they saw Panguyang, they were extremely excited. Speaking of which, the reason why they left Fenshin Valley was to look for Panguyang. They did not expect to see Panguyang here. On the other hand, the young man beside Panguyang looked extraordinary and powerful. He broke the 4 top generals' palm print and the black net with a single finger. However, his cultivation was only at the 6th level of the sovereign realm. Could he really defeat Du Tianshan and the others? Sensing the worries in Pangujin and the others, Panguyang transmitted his voice to Pangujin. 19th uncle, don't worry. Senior Ling Xiao is very strong. He has killed several titled supremes. These guys in front of us are doomed. Panguyang's voice was full of confidence. Although Pangujin had many doubts in his heart, he suppressed them for the time being. Who are you? How dare you interfere in my business? Do you really think that I won't dare to kill you? Du Tianmountain said coldly with a trace of intense killing intent in his eyes. He had set a trap with the Pangu rock as bait to attract the experts of the Pangu clan, and then kill them all in one fell swoop. However, he did not expect that the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Unexpectedly, an unfathomable Ling Xiao had jumped out. Chapter 955. I'm a friend of the Pangu clan. Let go of the Pangu rock, and I'll give you a quick death. Ling Xiao said calmly. Give me a quick death? Haha. Boy, you're crazy. For generals, kill him. Du Tianshan laughed in anger and his eyes were gloomy. Ling Xiao was too arrogant. Not only did he ask him to let go of the Pangu rock, but he also wanted to kill him. No matter how strong Ling Xiao's combat strength was, he was only at the 6th rank Supreme Realm. The 4 top fighters could kill a titled Supreme Being if they attacked at the same time. Therefore, Du Tianshan gave the order immediately. Brother, be careful. The 4 top fighters are extremely powerful. They can form the spiritual 4 battle formation, and have killed many titled Supreme Beings. Pangajun reminded Ling Xiao with a worried look in his eyes. Pangayang said confidently, 19th uncle, don't worry. With Senior Ling around, these guys are dead meat. Let's go save 2nd uncle. Okay. Although Pangajun and the rest did not know where Panguyang's confidence came from, they nodded in agreement. As long as Ling Xiao could hold the 4 top fighters back for a while, they could rescue the Pangu rock. Then, with everyone's strength, even if they could not defeat Du Tianshan and the rest, it would be easy for them to escape. Boom. At this moment, the 4 top fighters attacked. They were 4 middle-aged men in black robes. They looked similar and were brothers from the same mother. They were telepathic and were all titled Supreme Beings, but they could unleash powerful strength. 4 ancient battle sabers appeared in the hands of the 4 top fighters at the same time. They were extremely sharp and they slashed at Ling Xiao. The saber radiance swept across the heavens and earth. When each saber radiance was slashed, it seemed to fill the sky and split into countless dazzling saber forces. They had precise control over their divine power. The 4 top fighters attacked at the same time. The saber radiance enveloped Ling Xiao as if they were going to cut him into pieces. Good timing. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a sharp light. He punched out, and golden qi and blood rose around him. Behind him, the 4 guardians, the 5 elements divine light, the 6 paths of reincarnation, the 7 supreme stars, the endless Milky Way. There were a total of 7 visions. This was the 7 limits divine technique of devouring heaven and destroying earth. It was also created by Ling Xiao in his previous life. With Ling Xiao's current cultivation, he could finally fully display the 7 limits divine technique of devouring heaven and destroying earth. With the force of the divine god of battle, the power of the 7 limits art of devouring the heavens and earth was even stronger than his past life. Rumble. This punch was extremely bright. The terrifying fist print seemed to have turned into billions of divine lights in an instant, shattering all the saber lights in the sky. Ling Xiao was like a peerless heavenly emperor. Boundless divine light radiated from his body. He stepped on the starry sky and punched at the 4 ultimate battle generals. What? The 4 ultimate battle generals shuddered as their eyes revealed looks of disbelief. However, their hearts were as firm as steel, and they reacted almost instantly. Saber light instantly filled the sky, and 4 heavenly sabers surrounded Ling Xiao. Rumble. The heavens and earth shook. Those seemingly invincible saber lights were shattered by Ling Xiao's punch. The invincible fist print swept in all directions and instantly sent the 4 ultimate battle generals flying. How is this possible? Du Tianshan was completely stunned, and his mind went blank. He had never thought that the 4 ultimate battle generals could not even withstand a single punch from Ling Xiao when they attacked together. One should know that the 4 ultimate battle generals could at least withstand 10 moves from King Dusher when they joined forces. Could it be that Ling Xiao was stronger than King Dusher? How could a mere 6th level venerable be able to unleash such terrifying battle prowess? This had completely overturned Du Tianshan's understanding. As for Pangujun and the other experts of the Pangu clan, this was the first time they had seen Ling Xiao in action. They were all dumbfounded and even forgot to rescue Pangu Rock. 19th uncle, am I right? Senior Ling Xiao is invincible and is a peerless genius. Even the Chakravarti king was no match for him and was killed by him with a single punch. What are 4 titled supremes to him? Peng Yang's eyes glowed as he laughed proudly. His fleshly body has reached the peak of the human Tao. Draconic aura interwove around his body, and the might of the dragon is even stronger than that of the Pengu clan. Could he be from the ancient dragon clan? Pengda's heart trembled as he secretly guessed Ling Xiao's identity. Form the spiritual 4 battle formation. The 4 generals shouted. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. In an instant, 4 bright divine lights were emitted from their bodies and soared into the sky. The azure dragon of the east, the white tiger of the west, the vermilion bird of the south, and the black tortoise of the north. The 4 divisions and the 28 mansions shone brightly at this moment. Endless star power poured down, causing the 4 unique generals' aura to rise rapidly. Behind them, the shadows of the 4 sacred beasts actually condensed. At this moment, the strength of the 4 aces battle general seemed to have increased several times. A terrifying killing intent locked onto Ling Xiao. Interesting. The spiritual 4 battle formation? He's rather similar to the war god temple's 4 great guardian kings. A strange look flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes, but his expression remained calm. Green dragon sword kill. A cold voice rang out. Instantly the sky trembled. The shadow of the sacred beast azure dragon flickered, and turned into an ancient sword in the shape of a dragon. It swept across the sky and was tens of thousands of feet long, slashing down at Ling Xiao. This sword was unstoppable. It had already surpassed the peak of the human Tao. It vaguely contained a mysterious power that could break through the mortal world and enter the divine realm. Good timing. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. He wanted to test the power of the spiritual 4 battle formation, so he instantly punched out. The extreme physical strength of Ling Xiao's body allowed each of his punches to possess a strength that surpassed the peak. Furthermore, each of his punches contained the majestic power of the god of war, which transformed into the god of war King Fist, possessing an indestructible strength. You dare to resist the spiritual 4 battle formation with your physical strength? You're courting death. The power of the spiritual 4 battle formation overlaps, and each layer is stronger than the last. When the power of the spiritual 4 battle formation finally converges, it has the power to fight against the gods. I'd like to see how you're going to resist it. Du Tianshan sneered. His eyes were filled with a chilling killing intent. Unknowingly, Ling Xiao's punch was like the image of a celestial emperor sweeping through the heavens. It was imprinted in his heart, and became a shadow that he could not get rid of. If Ling Xiao didn't die, he would probably live under Ling Xiao's shadow for the rest of his life. His cultivation would never improve. Therefore Ling Xiao must die. Crack! The green dragon sword was shattered by Ling Xiao's punch and instantly exploded into a dazzling rain of light. Chapter 956. White Tiger Saber. With another roar, heaven and earth shook. The white tiger roared and turned into a peerless heavenly saber. It contained boundless ferocious aura and slashed at Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao threw a punch across the sky and smashed the white tiger saber, turning it into starlight. That's not right. The power of the 4 symbols is endless. Are they trying to gather the power of the 4 symbols to unleash a killing blow? What an interesting battle formation. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. He could feel that the green dragon sword and white tiger saber were formed by the power of the 4 symbols, and their source was the spiritual 4 battle formation. As long as the spiritual 4 battle formation was not broken, the green dragon sword and white tiger saber would continue to appear. Moreover, Ling Xiao could feel that the power of the green dragon sword and white tiger saber was getting stronger and stronger. It would be more terrifying in the future. If it were an ordinary person, he would definitely try to escape from the spiritual 4 battle formation. However, Ling Xiao wanted to see how strong the spiritual 4 battle formation that was set up by 4 titled supremes could be. Rosefinch Spear. Another roar was heard. Suddenly, the rosefinch sacred beast turned into a crimson spear. It was surrounded by flames that could burn rivers and boil seas. It pierced toward Ling Xiao. The crimson long spear was incomparably sharp. It contained an extreme power of flames, causing the entire world to fall into a calamity. The power of the rosefinch spear was several times stronger than that of the white tiger saber. Crack! Ling Xiao threw out a punch as well. The boundless devouring power around him exploded. The flames in the sky were swallowed by Ling Xiao like a whale swallowing the sea. They turned into energy that nourished the devouring fire. The rosefinch spear was smashed into pieces by Ling Xiao's punch. Black tortoise staff. The fourth roar was heard. The black tortoise, which was surrounded by black light, turned into a huge staff in the sky. It was as if a pillar had collapsed. It contained an unstoppable force and pressed down on Ling Xiao. The black tortoise staff was majestic, and it contained an unparalleled divine power. Even a titled supremes would be smashed into pieces by this staff. They would not be able to defend themselves. This staff also made Ling Xiao feel a trace of threat. Kill. The battle intent in Ling Xiao's eyes soared, and the blood in his body seemed to be boiling. He clenched his invincible fist and punched towards the black tortoise staff. Boom! When the fist landed on the black tortoise staff, the sound of metal clashing could be heard. Heaven and earth shook violently as light gushed out. This time the black tortoise staff did not shatter. As for the four ultimate generals, they held the azure dragon sword, white tiger saber, vermilion bird spear, and black tortoise staff respectively. They were like four peerless gods of war as they charged towards Ling Xiao. The monstrous might made everyone's hearts tremble. It was as if their bodies and souls were about to be reduced to dust by this strike. This power was too strong. Even Pang Dezhen and the others looked solemn. Could Ling Xiao really withstand such a terrifying spiritual four-battle formation? Rumble. In the sky, the most intense battle had erupted. Although Ling Xiao's fist imprints were shocking, he was still unable to crush the four divine weapons. The battle was incomparably intense. Just like that, after a few hundred moves, the four aces generals' aura became stronger and stronger, while Ling Xiao's aura became weaker and weaker. Boom. After another violent collision, Ling Xiao was instantly forced back by the four divine weapons. However, Ling Xiao's gaze was incomparably calm. So this is the spiritual four-battle formation? It is indeed extraordinary. However, if this is all you have, then you can all go to hell. Ling Xiao said indifferently as if he was talking about something insignificant. It turned out that the reason Ling Xiao had fought a few hundred moves with the four ultimate generals was to explore the mystery of the spiritual four-battle formation. The power of the four divine beasts was incomparably mysterious. This spiritual four-battle formation should be some kind of divine formation from the ancient times. It was even more mysterious than the four divine beasts' sky-striking style that Ling Xiao had created. It was very meaningful to him as a reference. At Ling Xiao's current cultivation level, it was no longer a problem for him to be titled as a supreme being. The most important thing was to find his own path to becoming a god. If the gate of the god realm was sealed, then he would break it with force. If the path of heaven was broken, then he would create a new path. To become a god in this world was Ling Xiao's ambition and goal. Rumble. Blood energy rose around Ling Xiao's body. Streaks of golden blood energy were like dragons, making Ling Xiao's body look like a resplendent sun, emitting endless light and heat. Every vein, meridian, and inch of skin in his body was branded with a powerful dragon's aura. This was the ultimate true dragon physique. This was the ultimate power of the human Tao. Ling Xiao punched out. Instantly, 9 divine dragons flashing with 7-colored divine light soared through the sky, containing the power to destroy everything. The myriad dragon's god-slaying technique and Ling Xiao's ancestral dragon secret technique worked together perfectly, almost erupting with a power comparable to that of a true god. What? The four ultimate generals' expressions changed drastically. Only now did they realize that Ling Xiao hadn't used his full strength just now. This was Ling Xiao's true strength. 9 7-colored divine dragons traversed the sky, changing heaven and earth, sweeping away all enemies. In the face of such power, the azure dragon sword, white tiger saber, vermilion bird spear, and black tortoise staff were like rivers of stars. And yet they were so weak that they exploded. As for the four ultimate generals, they didn't even have the slightest bit of resistance. Under Ling Xiao's punch, they instantly exploded into 4 mists of blood. Even his primordial spirit was shattered, and his primordial spirit was completely destroyed. The King Heaven Devourer cauldron swallowed up the flesh, blood, and nascent divinities of the 4 ultimate generals. The sky was empty, leaving behind only Ling Xiao, who looked like a celestial emperor, shining with a piercing light that made it impossible for anyone to look at him directly. The 4 ultimate generals were gone, as if they had been erased from existence. Not even a trace of them was left behind. Everyone was stunned. Meanwhile, Metropolis Tianshan was trembling uncontrollably, his eyes filled with terror. He had killed the 4 ultimate generals with a single blow. That level of power surpassed the peak of the human Tao, reaching the legendary level of god spirits. Perhaps only the 10 Halls kings could deal with him. Since when had a god-level expert like this appeared in the reincarnation world? Metropolis Tianshan's body trembled, and he turned to flee. However, Ling Xiao's gaze swept over him, and Metropolis Tianshan felt as if he had fallen into an icy abyss. He didn't dare to move an inch. This is the power of a god spirit. Little Yang, this senior Ling Xiao's strength is no weaker than the strongest of the 10 Halls kings. Our Pengu clan is saved. Pengu Zhen's eyes shone with incomparable shock and joy. So what if he's the 10 Halls kings? From what I can see, senior Ling Xiao's strength is no weaker than Yin Jiutian's. Yin Jiutian killed so many of our people. He'll die at senior Ling Xiao's hands sooner or later. Chapter 957. Kacha. Ling Xiao pointed his finger, and the dark golden cage instantly exploded. Although the runes on it were incomparably sturdy, they couldn't withstand Ling Xiao's casual attack. Even the iron chains that pierced through Pengu Rock's body were instantly shattered. Boom! A majestic power of blood and chi burst out. Pengu Rock roared, and his entire body emitted a terrifying fluctuation. With just the strength of his physical body, Pengu Rock's combat strength had reached the level of a 9th level supreme. Even Ling Xiao couldn't help but praise him. The talent of the Pengu clan was indeed extraordinary, comparable to that of an ancient divine beast. At the same time, Ling Xiao also sensed a powerful bloodline shackle from Pengu Rock's body, which caused his cultivation to be stuck at the half-step supreme realm, and he couldn't become a supreme. This bloodline shackle was extremely similar to the bloodline shackle of the Fengshui family and Tomb King City. It seemed like it was the work of the same existence. Second uncle. Pengu Yang's eyes were filled with incomparable surprise, and he quickly ran over and hugged Pengu Rock. Little Yang, fortunately you're fine. Pengu Yan's gaze softened. Although his power had been sealed and he couldn't speak, he had witnessed the scene of Ling Xiao defeating the 4 Aces battle general with his own eyes. He was incomparably amazed. Thank you, brother, for saving my life. Pengu Rock will never forget this. Pengu Crag bowed respectfully to Ling Xiao and said seriously, "You're welcome." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Second uncle, how's the situation in Fenshin Valley? Are father and the clansmen okay? Pengu Yang's eyes revealed a trace of worry as he hurriedly asked. The situation in Fenshin Valley is very bad. At the mention of Fenshin Valley, Pengu Rock's expression also became grave. Just a few months ago, the commander of the 9 Nether Troop, Zhou Tiankong, led a 1,000,000 9 Nether Troop and set up the 9 Nether Demon subduing array to attack Fenshin Valley. Fortunately, your father activated the Pengu Zhou Tian array and blocked the invasion of the 9 Nether Troop. But King Dusher and an expert called Underworld Empress arrived. Although your father condensed Pengu's true body with a great array and repelled them, your father was also seriously injured. If the Saintess of Samsara had not arrived at the critical moment, they would have attacked Fenshin Valley. But even with the Saintess, the situation in the valley is still extremely difficult. Pengu Rock briefly introduced the situation in Fenshin Valley. Right now, the 9 Nether Troop and King Dusher's people had already surrounded Fenshin Valley. They were using the boundless 9 Nether Chi to lay down the 9 Nether Demons subduing Great Formation, which was constantly eroding Fenshin Valley. Even with the Pengu Zhou Tian Great Formation, it wouldn't be able to hold on for too long. Pengu Rock, on the other hand, had left Fenshin Valley a long time ago to search for Pengu Yang's whereabouts, so it wasn't in Fenshin Valley. Previously, it had accidentally exposed its whereabouts, so it was captured by Du Tianshan and the others. Father is seriously injured? Pangu Yang's body trembled, and an anxious look appeared in his eyes. Ling Xiao suddenly asked, "This place is more than 10,000 miles away from Fenshin Valley. It's reasonable to say that the battle just now should have alarmed the 9 Nether Troop and King Dusher. Why haven't they appeared yet?" Hearing Ling Xiao's question, Pangu Rock immediately said, "Brother Ling, there's something you don't know. Fenshin Valley is the place where the great battle of gods and demons took place in ancient times. It's shrouded in mysterious laws, so the 9 Nether Troop and King Dusher can't sense what's happening outside. But they are besieging Fenshin Valley, so I'm afraid Fenshin Valley won't be able to hold on for long." "You mean they can't sense the battle just now? If that's the case, we can catch them off guard." Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he slowly said, "Whoosh." Ling Xiao flicked his finger, and rays of divine light streaked across the sky, instantly imprisoning Du Tianshan and his subordinates, and then kept them in the small world. Ling Xiao originally thought that King Dusher would come here, and a great battle might break out. But since King Dusher and the 9 Nether Troop didn't sense it, there was no need to kill Du Tianshan to avoid alerting the enemy. Thinking of Ling Xiao's powerful battle strength, Pangu Krag's eyes also lit up. Brother Ling is right. The 9 Nether Troop's commander, Swa Tiankong, is only a titled supremacy. The strongest are only King Dusher and the Nether Empress. As long as we can hold them back, the Saintess and Big Brother should be able to kill them all in one fell swoop. Pangu Krag slowly said. But he was a little hesitant. Although Ling Xiao was strong, the Nether Empress and King Dusher were both half-step gods. Would Ling Xiao really be a match for them? Ling Xiao saw Pangu Krag's worry and said with a faint smile, "I can hold back the Nether Empress and King Dusher, but do you have a way to contact Fenshin Valley?" Ling Xiao didn't say too much. Although he believed that it wouldn't be a problem to deal with 2 half-step gods at the same time. This time, the 9 Nether Empire had been plotting for a long time. He didn't know if there were other hidden experts, so it was better to keep a low profile. King Chujiang said that he, King Qingguang, and King Songdi would hold back the other kings, but Ling Xiao had doubts about his words. No matter how strong the 3 of them were, it would be difficult for them to hold back 6 half-step gods. Moreover, there was the unfathomable Yin Jiotian behind them. Yin Jiotian was determined to kill Ling Xiao. "My father left a trace of imprint in my primordial spirit. I'll burn that trace of imprint to send a message to him once," Pang Guyang said directly after thinking for a while. "Well, in that case, let's not delay any longer. Let's set off now." A sharp glint flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, revealing a strong fighting spirit. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Many experts soared into the sky and flew toward Fenshin Valley. Fenshin Valley was at the center of this mountain range. Fenshin Valley was easy to recognize. In front of it, endless red evil chi rose like clouds, covering a huge area. Moreover, even the primordial spirit couldn't penetrate the red evil chi. One could vaguely feel that there was an extremely terrifying aura in it. Pang Guyang burned the imprint in his primordial spirit, and sent the message to Fenshin Valley, where the patriarch of the Pangu clan, Pangu Zhan, was. Ling Xiao carefully led them into the crimson clouds of murderous aura. Inside Fenshin Valley, Pangu Zhan was a tall man more than 300 feet tall. His aura was monstrous, and his muscles seemed to be cast in gold, containing immense power. However, there was a huge bloody hole in his chest, which was filled with black evil chi, preventing his flesh and blood from healing. His face was pale. Behind him were thousands of members of the Pangu clan. Their eyes were all filled with the determination to die. The tall saintess of the Samsara temple, wearing a white dress and carrying an ancient sword on her back, floated in the void. Beside her stood the fat Zhu Biao. The saintess of the Samsara temple was Xue Wei. Her body was filled with sword essence, which was vast and majestic. Her eyes were sharp as if they could see through everything. "Saintess, I should be able to summon the real body of Pangu again." Pangu Zhan looked at Xue Wei and said slowly. Chapter 958. Can you summon the Pangu real body one more time? Fenshin Valley is not a place for Pangu Zhan to stay for long. If we continue to stay here, I'm afraid the Pangu clan will be in danger of being wiped out. Later, I'll attack and stall the Nether Queen and King Dusher. You use the Pangu real body to break the 9 Serenities demon subduing formation, and lead the Pangu clan to break out. Shui Wei's voice was cold and ethereal, and a surge of sword intent spread out from her body. What? Absolutely not. Pangu Zhan's expression changed. He smiled bitterly and said, Saintess, you haven't completed the fusion with the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. You're no match for the Nether Queen and King Dusher. The Pangu clan deserves to die, but if we implicate the Saintess, we won't be able to redeem ourselves. It doesn't matter whether we implicate them or not. This is my own choice. Moreover, the Pangu clan is the hero of the reincarnation world. We don't deserve such treatment. It's all my fault. I've made up my mind. This is not a negotiation. This is an order. Shui Wei's cold eyes fell on Pangu Zhan. They were incomparably firm and decisive. Saintess. All the Pangu clan members trembled. Their eyes were filled with gratitude and worry. Zhu Biao, break out with the Pangu clan members and bring them back to the reincarnation temple. Shui Wei glanced at Zhu Biao indifferently. Then, without waiting for his reply, a dazzling sword light broke the void behind her. She turned into a gorgeous divine rainbow and flew out in an instant. Saintess. Zhu Biao's eyes were filled with worry and helplessness. However, he knew Shui Wei's character. He couldn't change her decision. Everyone listen up. The Saintess has left Fenshin Valley to stall the Nether Queen and King Dusher for the Pangu clan. We can't disappoint the Saintess. Later, follow me to break the 9 Serenities demon subduing formation and kill those bastards. Pangu Zhan's tiger-like eyes turned red. He looked at the Pangu clan experts behind him and roared angrily. Kill those bastards. Kill those bastards. Kill those bastards. Furious roars shook the sky like thunderbolts, completely arousing the bloodthirst and fighting will of the Pangu clan. At this moment, Pangu Zhan's heart suddenly jolted. The trace of soul imprint he had left in Pangu Yang's soul actually burned up and sent him a message. The peerless expert Ling Xiao? Collusion from the inside and outside? Aha! The Pangu clan is saved. Pangu Zhan's eyes were filled with ecstasy. Pangu Yang told Pangu Zhan about Ling Xiao's terrifying battle prowess, and he also told him about Ling Xiao's plan. They planned to work together to break through the siege of the 9 Nether Troop and King Dusher. Especially when he heard that Ling Xiao was able to kill the Chakravarti king, Pangu Zhan was even more excited. Pangu Zhan quickly told his clansmen about the news from Pangu Yang. Immediately, everyone was excited, and their eyes were filled with hope. Who are you talking about? Ling Xiao. Zhu Biao's fat jiggled as he caught the crux of Pangu Zhan's words. He immediately revealed a look of surprise and asked. Yes, the peerless expert Ling Xiao. Little Yang said that he met him in the Chujiang territory. He saved Little Yang and killed the Chakravarti king. He's now on his way to help our Fenshin Valley. Do you know this Ling Xiao? Pangu Zhan explained with a trace of doubt in his eyes. Is it really Ling Xiao? It's really a case of searching high and low for something, only to find it by chance. We're saved now. The Nether Empress, King Dusher, they're all going to die. Pangu clan leader, let's kill our way out. With Ling Xiao here, we'll definitely win this battle. Zhu Biao's eyes were filled with surprise and joy as he laughed out loud. Zhu Biao almost immediately confirmed that the Ling Xiao that Pangu Yang mentioned was the Ling Xiao that he knew. Only Ling Xiao could communicate with and kill a god with the cultivation of a supreme being. In the Battle of the Reincarnation Sea, Ling Xiao had single-handedly defied the heavens and killed 2 holy masters. His demeanor had been deeply imprinted in Zhu Biao's heart. He was originally worried about where Ling Xiao had gone. He did not expect Ling Xiao to appear in such a way. Good. Let's kill our way out. Although Pangu Zhan did not know where Zhu Biao's confidence came from, he was infected by it. He immediately shouted and called out to all the experts of the Pangu clan to rush out of Fenshin Valley. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled. Baleful aura filled the air in Fenshin Valley. This area was much larger than Ling Xiao had imagined, as if it was a boundless world. Moreover, there were powerful arrays set up by the 9 Nether Troop and King Dusher in the periphery. Ling Xiao and the others pushed their way through, uprooting all the arrays and killing all the subordinates of the 9 Nether Troop and King Dusher. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed sharply. He suddenly felt that in the sky, where baleful aura filled the air, there was a powerful sword intent that swept across the 9 heavens, slashing toward 2 incomparably terrifying figures. Ling Zhao could feel that there were 3 figures engaged in a fierce battle. 2 of them were half-step gods with terrifying strength. They were most likely King Dusher and the Nether Empress. The other figure gave Ling Zhao a very familiar feeling. However, the destructive sword intent that resembled the 6 paths of reincarnation was unfamiliar to him. He could only vaguely feel that it should be a woman. 6 paths of reincarnation sword. That's the Saintess. Brother Ling Zhao, although the Saintess is strong, she has not completely integrated with the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. Please help the Saintess. Pangurok trembled as he felt the sword intent in the 9 heavens. He immediately recognized the figure of the Saintess of Reincarnation, and said anxiously, "Okay, you guys be careful. I'll go take a look." Ling Zhao was also very decisive. After saying a few words to Pangurok and the others, he instantly soared into the sky. Rumble. In the 9 heavens, red baleful aura filled the air like rosy clouds, containing incomparably terrifying power. Shuewei stood on the 9 heavens with an incomparably sharp ancient sword in her hand. Her aura was cold and her eyes were indifferent as she stared at the 2 people opposite her. The Nether Empress was wearing a black robe. Her curvaceous figure was exquisite. Her skin was snow-white like jade, and her figure was very hot. Moreover, her face was extremely beautiful with a mature charm. Her every move exuded boundless charm. King Dusher, who was beside the Nether Empress, was a middle-aged man wearing a black dragon robe. His face was gloomy and his eyes were cold. He looked very similar to Dusher Mountain, but with a more majestic and mysterious aura. Kill. Chapter 959. Saintess of Samsara, you are indeed a lovely girl. No wonder Yin Jiutian is so obsessed with you and wants to marry you. But it's a pity that you can't control a supreme divine weapon like the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. The Nether Queen chuckled and looked at the 6 paths of reincarnation sword with a burning gaze. The 6 paths of reincarnation sword could be said to be the #1 divine weapon in the entire reincarnation world. It was left behind by the first Saintess of Samsara a million years ago, and contained unparalleled divine power. However, the 6 paths of reincarnation sword required at least a half-step divine realm cultivator to fully activate it. Shuewei was only at the 9th level of the sovereign realm, so it was extremely difficult for her to activate it. Clang. The Nether Queen didn't take the sword head-on. Instead, a black light spread out behind her, making her illusory and mysterious. She instantly split into billions of shadows and escaped from the lock of the sword. A black saber appeared in King Dusher's hand. As the saber light circulated, it could draw the power of the stars in the 9th heaven, and collided with the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. King Dusher felt an unparalleled divine power coming at him, and couldn't help but fly back a few hundred feet. Although Shuewei only swayed slightly, her face became paler. She hadn't completely integrated with the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. So every time she used the 6 paths of reincarnation sword, she would suffer a great backlash. Saintess, I advise you to stop struggling. It's your fortune that the Great has taken a fancy to you. As long as you marry the Great, the Samsara Temple and the 9 Nether Empire will merge and we will be a family. Why not? Why do you have to protect these remnants of the Pangu clan? King Dusher sneered. Despicable and shameless. King Dusher, you have betrayed the great oath of reincarnation. I think you will have to go to the reincarnation platform during the reincarnation ceremony. Without the Pangu clan and the Samsara Temple protecting this world, you would have died in the hands of the extraterrestrial demons. The Pangu clan is the hero of the reincarnation world, and you are the traitors. Shuewei's voice was cold and resolute, like a sword that would rather break than bend. King Dusher trembled and felt guilty. He said angrily, without the Samsara platform, what can the great Samsara oath do to me? Holy Maiden, since you're so reckless, I'll capture you and hand you over to the great Emperor. Rumble. King Dusher's body shone brightly. The battle blade in his hand was also an inherited divine tool of his lineage. It was called the 4 Division Star Slashing Blade. and it was capable of drawing the divine power of the 4 divisions' 28 mansions. The 4 spirits battle array of the 4 division battle generals was passed down by him. At this moment, King Dusher was the only one using this technique. Hundreds of millions of starlight gathered behind him, turning into the phantoms of the azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise. They gathered on the 4 divisions' star-slashing blade and slashed toward Shuewei. This slash was powerful, heavy, and peerlessly terrifying. It contained a force capable of destroying the world. The underworld empress chuckled. Her figure seemed to be hidden in the darkness as she attacked Shuewei from all directions. Streaks of black divine light locked onto Shuewei's surroundings like divine chains of order. Kill. Shuewei's eyes were firm and bright. The 6 paths of reincarnation sword slashed across the sky, and a huge sword chi rose, filling this part of the sky. The 6 realms, Heavenly Tao, Human Tao, Azura Tao, Animal Tao, Hungry Ghost Tao, and Hell Tao, appeared in the world, forming a dazzling 6 realms samsara wheel. The sword intent was so bright that it seemed to be able to penetrate everything. The vast sword light shattered the divine chains of order, and the 4 divine beasts that filled the sky. Clang! The 6 paths of reincarnation sword fell on the 4 divisions' star-slashing blade. The 4 divisions' star-slashing blade trembled violently, as if it would shatter at any time. Whoosh! King Dusher instantly flew back and recalled the 4 divisions' star-slashing blade in time. His eyes were filled with shock and heartache. Although he had heard of the terror of the 6 paths of reincarnation sword before, this was the first time he had seen Shuewei use the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. That kind of power that could annihilate everything forced him to dodge. King Dusher, the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation sword is too strong. I'm afraid that only the reincarnation stage in the hands of the great emperor can resist it. Let's not fight her head-on. With her current cultivation base, I'm afraid it won't take long for her to exhaust her cultivation base. Empress Ming suddenly transmitted her voice to King Dusher. Okay. King Dusher nodded and agreed. They were all old foxes who had cultivated for tens of thousands of years. Their strength was unparalleled. Naturally, they could see that Shuewei's weakness was her cultivation base. Shuewei wanted to display the divine power of the 6 paths of reincarnation sword and defeat Empress Ming and King Dusher in one go. However, Empress Ming and King Dusher were very cunning. They began to fight Shuewei, and did not confront the 6 paths of reincarnation sword head-on. Rumble. Below them, Pangajan led the experts of the Pangu clan and charged out. The void trembled and the sky shook. Endless divine light gathered behind Pangajan. Monstrous blood chi condensed into a huge figure that was tens of thousands of feet tall. Its head was the sky, and its feet were on the ground. Its divine power was unfathomable and terrifying to the extreme. This was the Pangu true body. Legend had it that the ancestor of the Pangu clan was the ancient god of creation, Pangu. Therefore, with their bloodline, they could summon the terrifying power of the Pangu true body. The power of the Pangu true body had almost surpassed the pinnacle of the human Tao. At this moment, the 9 underworlds devil-subduing grand array did not have a half-step divine spirit to control it. It was directly destroyed by the Pangu true body. An extremely fierce battle broke out. However, everyone was most concerned about the battle above the 9 heavens. That was the fundamental factor that determined the outcome of the battle. After breaking the 9 underworlds devil-subduing grand array, Pangajan and the others did not continue to fight. They wanted to lead the Pangu clan to break out of the encirclement. However, the 9 underworlds troop and King Dusher's subordinates were already prepared and firmly held them back. For a moment, the experts of the Pangu clan fell into a bitter battle. Ling Xiao broke through the layers of baleful chi barrier and arrived above the 9 heavens. That's Shuewei. Ling Xiao's gaze fell on Shuewei, who was holding the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. His body trembled, and his eyes were filled with incomparable surprise and disbelief. He had never thought that the saintess of the Samsara temple would be Shuewei. At this moment, Shuewei's appearance was unparalleled. Her white dress fluttered in the wind, and sword intent gathered around her. She was like a sword immortal of the 9 heavens. Her radiance was so dazzling that it was impossible to look at her directly. She was no longer the obedient little girl who always followed behind Ling Xiao. She had shed her shyness and accepted her weakness. She had grown up and become a peerless expert who could dominate a part of the world. Ling Xiao looked at Shui Wei, and his face was filled with joy and a bright smile. Ling Xiao did not conceal his aura. Therefore, almost instantly, Shui Wei, the Nether Empress, and King Dusher discovered his existence. When Shui Wei saw Ling Xiao, her body trembled violently. Her eyes were filled with disbelief and surprise. Her originally cold face bloomed with a peerless smile. "Young master." Chapter 960. Shui Wei looked at Ling Xiao in a daze. Her smile was like a flower, but her eyes were blurred. After coming to the reincarnation world for so many years, she had to bear so many heavy burdens by herself. She had to be strong and face everything alone. She had to bear the responsibility that she should bear. Therefore, she grew rapidly. She suppressed her weakness in her heart, and hid her loneliness in the middle of the night. She held the ice-cold ancient sword and stood in the clouds, trying her best to be a qualified saintess of reincarnation. Sometimes, Shui Wei even thought that she would rather give up power, status, and everything. She just wanted to be a simple and happy maid by her young master's side. Being able to see her young master every day was her greatest happiness. But at this moment, after seeing Ling Xiao, all her pretense of being strong and cold was completely frozen when she heard him call her young master. Kill. Although the Nether Empress and King Dusher did not know the relationship between Ling Xiao and the saintess, their eyes lit up. They realized that this was a good opportunity. As long as they captured the saintess and handed her to the 9 Nether Emperor, they would have completed half of their mission. Rumble. The Nether Empress and King Dusher exuded an extremely terrifying aura. The Nether Empress figure merged with the darkness and instantly turned into a giant black net in the void. It contained an extremely powerful force and enveloped Shui Wei. The 4-division star/blade in King Dusher's hand was blazing. It was connected to the Milky Way in the sky. Endless starlight sprinkled down and a mighty blade light slashed toward Shui Wei. This blade light seemed to split the heavens and the earth into 2 halves. The sky was filled with blazing blade light. It was extremely terrifying. "You're courting death." Ling Xiao's face instantly turned cold, revealing monstrous anger and killing intent. Rumble. He soared through the sky with extreme speed. Like a golden bolt of lightning, he appeared beside Shui Wei in an instant. Then he hugged Shui Wei in his arms. Shui Wei looked at Ling Xiao with a face full of smiles. She did not even care about the giant black net and the 4-division star/blade behind her. She just stared at Ling Xiao in a daze, wanting to imprint him in her heart forever. Young master's chest is so warm. Shui Wei's pretty face blushed. She smiled like a flower. She gently hugged Ling Xiao, her eyes overflowing with happiness. She really wished that this moment could turn into eternity, so that she could accompany the young master forever. Starlight sprinkled down from the sky, like the most resplendent fireworks, illuminating the 2 figures in each other's embrace. Boom! Holding Shui Wei in his arms, Ling Xiao's eyes shone with piercing light as the King Heaven Devourer cauldron appeared above his head, ancient and mysterious, pulsing with boundless energy. At the same time, Ling Xiao threw a punch forward. The force of the divine god of battle burst out from his body and transformed into a terrifying divine god of battle fist, aiming at the 4 appearances star-slashing saber. Crack! Heaven and earth trembled as if the world was about to collapse. The blade light that filled the sky exploded. That invincible blade light actually had no way of dealing with Ling Xiao's fist. In the end, Ling Xiao's fist landed on the 4-aspect star-slasher blade. The 4-division star/blade trembled violently. Runes exploded one after another, and vast divine power burst out, causing King Dusher's complexion to change as he was sent flying. As for the Infernal Queen's black net, it was formed from her darkness-type god power and magical laws, making it even tougher than a paragon item. However, as soon as it landed on the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, Heaven Devourer fire sprayed out of it and instantly melted the net. Ling Xiao held Shui Wei in his arms as he floated through the air. His robes were as white as snow, and his hair fluttered in the wind. He was tall and handsome, and his skin shone brightly. His eyes were as sharp as swords. His entire body was enveloped by golden light, and his aura was extraordinary. His entire body emitted a domineering and majestic aura. He was like an ancient god of heaven that swept through the heavens and was invincible, causing others to not dare look directly at him. Shui Wei was smiling like a flower as she lay in Ling Zhao's arms, her eyes filled with gentleness. Even the Infernal Queen and King Dusher were intimidated by Ling Zhao's energy, and had very serious expressions on their faces. Just who exactly are you? King Dusher asked coldly as he looked at Ling Zhao. He could sense that Ling Zhao's cultivation base was only at the 6th level of the sovereign realm. However, Ling Zhao's battle prowess was too terrifying. He had easily neutralized the joint attack of the Infernal Queen and King Dusher. I'm Ling Zhao. If you dare to hurt Shui Wei, you'll all die. Ling Zhao said indifferently, and the killing intent in his eyes was almost tangible. Little brother, do you like the Holy Maiden? Unfortunately, the Holy Maiden belongs to the 9 Underworld Great Emperor. If the Great Emperor finds out that you've stolen his woman, he won't let you off. Why don't you submit to me? I'll definitely love you dearly. The Infernal Queen chuckled. Her body exuded a different kind of seductive aura, and her every move was full of charm. Her figure was incomparably hot, and her skin was as translucent as jade. Her black robe wrapped around her delicate body, and her breasts were so high that it was easy to see the deep ravine between them. Even King Dusher couldn't help but feel his heart skip a beat. She was really a vixen. The Infernal Queen was known to have 3,000 male companions. Even the 9 Underworld Great Emperor had an unclear relationship with her. King Dusher didn't dare to provoke her. Otherwise, his cultivation base would be sucked dry by her. However, Ling Zhao's eyes were as cold as steel. The Infernal Queen's charm didn't seem to have any effect on Ling Zhao. Who does the 9 Underworld Great Emperor think he is? Sooner or later, I'll kill him. You're just an old witch who has lived for more than 10,000 years. How dare you show off in front of me? In my eyes, you're not even comparable to a strand of Shui Wei's hair. Today, all of you will die. Ling Zhao's voice was incomparably cold. His eyes were as sharp as blades as they fell on the Infernal Queen. It was as if he wanted to cut her into pieces. The Infernal Queen's face instantly turned ugly. She thought that her appearance was peerless and her charm was unparalleled. Even the 9 Underworld Great Emperor had become a subject under her skirt. However, she didn't expect Ling Zhao to not only have no reaction, but also call her an old witch. Instantly, the killing intent in her heart surged. Good, good, good. Brat, when I catch you later, I'll skin you and pull out your tendons. I'll roast your primordial spirit with the 9 underworld flames for 10,000 years. I'll let you taste the most despairing pain in this world. The Infernal Queen screamed. Her face was ashen, and she looked ferocious. Her eyes were filled with cold killing intent. I don't need 10,000 years. Today you'll die. Ling Zhao's eyes were incomparably sharp as he pounced on the Infernal Queen. Rumble. Ling Zhao used a secret teleportation technique, and appeared 1,000 feet away in an instant. He punched at the Infernal Queen. The vast fist print contained unparalleled divine power, and was extremely terrifying. The Infernal Queen felt the terror of this punch, and didn't dare to take it head-on. Her figure flashed, and was about to hide in the darkness. Chapter 961. Damn you, brat! The Underworld Empress shrieked. 2 vortexes of darkness appeared in her eyes, trying to pull Ling Zhao's nascent divinity out and consume it. Not good. Young master, this is the Underworld Empress Nether Demon Eye. It can devour souls. Young master, don't look at it. Shui Wei's expression changed, and she hurriedly warned. Don't worry, Shui Wei. Watch me beat this old hag to death. Ling Zhao said with a faint smile. He wasn't affected at all. Before the energy of the underworld could enter his sea of consciousness, it was devoured by the Heaven Devourer cauldron. Furthermore, Ling Zhao's sea of consciousness was protected by the wordless heavenly tome, so he wasn't worried about divine abilities that attacked the nascent divinity. What? The Underworld Empress' face fell, and her eyes filled with disbelief when she saw that Ling Zhao wasn't affected in the slightest. However, at this moment, Ling Zhao's King of War Fist had already landed. Like an ancient divine mountain, It wanted to crush everything into dust. The Underworld Empress hand flashed with light, and a small black shield appeared in front of Ling Xiao, pulsing with powerful godliness. Rumble. The small black shield shone brightly like a black mirror, sparkling and translucent. It actually managed to block Ling Xiao's punch. On the other hand, the Nether Empress was blasted back several dozen meters by the peerless divine power before she managed to stabilize herself in the air. Young master, Shuewei said softly, that's the Underworld Blacklight Mirror, a powerful god item with incredible defensive power. It can even reflect attacks. The Underworld Blacklight Mirror? I think that's the heart-protecting mirror of the war god. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. When he punched the Netherworld Xiangli mirror, the Aries set on his body actually emitted an extremely strong wave, as if the Netherworld Xiangli mirror and the Aries set were one. Ling Xiao had obtained the war god armor set from the Flowing Time Shrine. According to legend, it was the armor of the Scarlet Dragon war god, and contained incredible power. However, the war god armor set was incomplete, and it lacked the most important heart-protecting mirror. Ling Xiao had never imagined that the Underworld Blacklight mirror in the Underworld Empress hand was the heart-protecting mirror of the war god armor set. King Dusher, let's kill this kid together, the Underworld Empress said, her eyes flashing with killing intent. Good. A mere 6th level venerable. I want to see how strong he is to be so arrogant. King Dusher said with a cold look in his eyes. The two demigods were brimming with murderous intent as they locked onto Ling Xiao. Shuewei, I'll send you down later. Go and help the Pangu clan end the battle as soon as possible. Leave these two to me. Ling Xiao transmitted his voice to Shuewei. Good. Young master, you must be careful. Shuewei nodded in agreement. She had heard from Zhu Biao about Ling Xiao's powerful combat strength. He was able to kill 2 half-step divine spirits when he was only at the 2nd level supreme stage. Now that Ling Xiao was already at the 6th level supreme stage, it was only natural that he was even more powerful. Although the Nether Empress and King Dusher were strong, they were still no match for Ling Xiao. Don't worry. Ling Xiao smiled and patted Shuewei. Immediately, Shuewei turned into a stream of light and flew down. After leaving Ling Xiao's embrace, Shuewei felt a little lost in her heart. But soon after, her gaze became resolute. She held the 6 Paths of Reincarnation sword in her hand, and sword intent rose from her body as she charged towards the subordinates of the Shuewei troop and King Dusher. Rumble. An earth-shattering battle broke out in the Fenshan Valley below. With the addition of Shuewei, the morale of the Pangu clan's expert soared. The more they fought, the braver they became. On the other hand, the subordinates of the 9 Nether troop and King Dusher were showing signs of being defeated. With the 6 Paths of Reincarnation sword in her hand, Shuewei's combat strength was unparalleled. Even titled Supremes were no match for her. She posed a great threat to the 9 Nether troop. Above the void, the Nether Empress and King Dusher's gazes fell on Ling Xiao, ignoring the battle below. In their opinion, Ling Xiao was the greatest threat. As long as they killed Ling Xiao, the Pangu clan could be wiped out easily. Kill. Murderous intent flashed in King Dusher's eyes as he took the initiative to attack. The space between his eyebrows glowed, and a powerful and vast divine Dao Law erupted. Suddenly, heaven and earth trembled, and the stars in the sky began to shake. Streaks of starlight fell, and poured into the 4 divisions star/blade in his hand. Suddenly, the blade light was unparalleled. It contained the changes of the Milky Way and was unfathomable. It slashed toward Ling Xiao at an extremely fast speed. Come on! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. He could feel that King Dusher had activated his godhead's divine power, and began to erupt with his true strength. The 4 divisions star-slashing blade was more than 10 times stronger than before. A light flashed in Ling Xiao's hand, and the heaven-devouring sword appeared in his palm. The heaven-devouring sword had swallowed so many heavenly treasures, and even a trace of the 9 Yin Sovereign's godhead's power. Now, it had almost recovered to the peak of its previous life. The heaven-devouring sword was a supreme divine tool, and in Ling Xiao's hand, it burst out with incomparably resplendent light. Rumble. The heaven-devouring sword crossed the void and fell on the 4 divisions star-slashing blade. Sword chi spread out for 90,000 miles, illuminating the world in all directions. It contained Ling Xiao's majestic divine power. Rather than saying that the sword slashed down, it was better to say that Ling Xiao directly smashed down. Boom! The 4 divisions star-slashing blade instantly split into starlight that filled the sky. Each of the starlight contained the most blazing killing intent, as if it wanted to cut Ling Xiao into countless pieces. Ling Xiao's body shone with dazzling light as he unleashed his heaven-devouring secret magic, devouring all of the starlight. In the end, the heaven-devouring sword slashed down on the 4 divisions star-slashing blade, causing dazzling light to erupt. Boundless god power erupted, and King Dusher was sent flying backward. Whoosh! At this moment, the sky was suddenly shrouded in darkness. Waves of cold murderous intent seemed to lock Ling Xiao in from all directions. The Infernal Queen had made her move. The Infernal Queen cultivated an ancient divine art called the Netherworld Profound Art, which, when cultivated to the extreme, could transform her into a netherworld, making her undying and indestructible. As long as there was darkness, she could come back to life. Although the Netherworld Profound Art she had acquired was incomplete, she could still split into millions upon millions of projections. Black light filled the sky, making it impossible to tell which one was the real Infernal Queen. Furthermore, each and every one of the beams of killing intent was aimed at Ling Xiao's vitals. Ling Xiao had the King Heaven Devourer cauldron to protect him, and his fleshly body was terrifying to the extreme. Therefore, although the Infernal Queen's attacks were strong, they were all devoured by the cauldron. However, one of the shadowy figures suddenly broke through the defensive aegis of the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, and black light shot toward Ling Xiao's head. Whiz! It was as if Ling Xiao had eyes on the back of his head, and he spun like a top. Reaching out with 2 fingers, he caught the black light. Chapter 962. What? The Underworld Empress was shocked. The Netherworld spike in her hand was a powerful divine weapon. Although it wasn't complete, she had killed countless Supreme Being experts with her Netherworld mystic skill. However, Ling Xiao was able to catch the Netherworld spike with 2 fingers. Rumble! A sharp glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes, and he threw a punch at the Nether Empress with his other hand. Demigods were far stronger than titled paragons because their nascent divinities were fused with godhood, but their fleshly body was still the fleshly body of a titled paragon. Because of that, the weakness of demigods was their fleshly body. If their fleshly body was destroyed, they would lose 90% of their strength. It was similar to how the exalted celestials of the right and right exalted celestials had their fleshly bodies destroyed. Not even their godhood and nascent divinities could stand up to the wordless heaven scroll and the King Heaven Devourer cauldron. The Infernal Queen was well aware of her weaknesses, and after fighting with Ling Xiao, she knew how terrifying his fleshly body was. He was at the peak of humanity, and wasn't someone she could stand up to. Without even thinking about it, the Infernal Queen tried to back away. "Where do you think you're going?" Ling Xiao said, his eyes flashing. Then the King Heaven Devourer cauldron flew over his head, and landed on top of the Infernal Queen's head, unleashing boundless devouring power that locked her in place. Although it was only for a brief moment, it was enough time for Ling Xiao to unleash his fist strike. Rumble! The Underworld Empress expression changed drastically. She immediately raised the Netherworld Black Mirror to block in front of her. Ling Xiao's fist imprint was boundless. He unleashed the power of the true dragon body and the Ares art, and instantly sent the Netherworld Black Mirror flying. The Infernal Queen's arm exploded into a cloud of blood and gore, and half of her body was destroyed. "Ag! I'm going to kill you!" she shrieked. Escaping from the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, she shone with dazzling light as her fleshly body began to heal. However, her aura was also growing weaker. Rumble! At that point, King Dusher appeared, his 4 phases star-slashing saber in hand. The saber will was unparalleled, containing an incomparably terrifying killing intent. Taking advantage of the moment when Ling Xiao had just punched out, he wanted to kill Ling Xiao with 1 strike. It had to be said that King Dusher's timing was perfect. The might of the 4 divisions astral slash saber was unparalleled, containing the power to annihilate everything. A vast expanse of white heavenly river hung horizontally in the void, cascading down from the 9 heavens like a waterfall. A sharp light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. The sky-devouring sword pierced through the air. The sword looked light, but it contained extreme speed. Ling Xiao used a teleportation secret technique and instantly pierced through the void, dodging the 4 Division's Star/Blade's saber momentum and stabbing the 4 Division's Star/Blade. Clang! The sword and saber clashed. Sparks flew in all directions. The radiance was extremely bright. Ling Xiao deflected the 4 Division's Star/Blade with his sword, and then sent a palm strike towards King Dusher. Roar! The dragon's might was boundless, and the dragon's roar shook the heavens. 9 7-colored divine dragons swept over, making this palm incomparably terrifying and unstoppable. This was the ultimate power of the 10,000 dragons god-slaying technique. A terrifying killing intent instantly erupted. King Dusher's complexion changed drastically. He didn't expect Ling Xiao to be able to use such a powerful martial art of the Dragon Clan. While retreating rapidly, he mobilized the power of the stars in the sky. The starlight condensed into 28 supreme stars, which then transformed into the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Black Tortoise. The 4 divine beasts rushed towards Ling Xiao's palm strike. He only hoped that he could block it for a moment, then he could easily escape. Boom! However, Ling Xiao's 10,000 dragons god-slaying technique crushed everything. The 4 divine beasts' phantoms exploded one after another. This palm strike was like the hand of the heavenly emperor, suppressing the world as it blasted towards King Dusher. How is this possible? King Dusher's eyes revealed a look of disbelief. This palm strike made him feel a fatal crisis. King Dusher's body suddenly emitted a bright light, and an ancient jade talisman instantly rose into the air, turning into a golden barrier. A mysterious Buddhist aura pervaded the air. It looked like an eternal Vajra barrier. Kacha! Ling Xiao's invincible palm strike was unexpectedly blocked by the golden barrier. A treasure of the ancient Buddhist sect? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and monstrous divine power erupted from his body. After resisting for a moment, the barrier instantly shattered, and the jade talisman also exploded. King Dusher took the opportunity to fly a few hundred feet away, widening the distance between him and Ling Xiao. King Dusher's eyes were full of pain. He obtained the jade talisman from the ancient ruins, and it could withstand the attack of a half-step divine spirit. Now that it was completely destroyed, it made his heart ache. Mingho, this boy is too strange. Perhaps only His Majesty can deal with him. We can't stay here for long. Let's go. King Dusher glanced at Mingho and said. Both of them had the thought of retreating. Ling Xiao's strength was too terrifying. Even though he was fighting 1 against 2, he still had the upper hand. This made the 2 of them feel a sense of defeat. They had lost their edge. If they continued to fight, they would lose without a doubt. Want to leave? If you can survive my attack, I'll spare you. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent, and he rushed towards King Dusher and Mingho. Rumble. Behind Ling Xiao, a 7-colored divine dragon and a 5-colored phoenix rose up. The divine dragon and phoenix intertwined with each other, looking very harmonious. Inside Ling Xiao's body, the ancestral dragon secret art and the true phoenix secret art circulated at the same time, and the 2 secret arts began to slowly merge. The divine dragon and phoenix cried out together, turning into a dazzling divine light that penetrated the heavens and the earth. Vaguely, an incomparably mysterious figure seemed to be walking out of an inexplicable space-time. This was the power of the fusion of the dragon and phoenix secret art. It was also the most powerful power that Ling Xiao had mastered so far, except for the life-reversing art. Boom! The boundless divine light seemed to have become eternal between heaven and earth, instantly locking the Underworld Empress and King Dusher. Moreover, as Ling Xiao punched out, the terrifying divine light blazed to the extreme. Block it! Underworld Empress and King Dusher's complexion changed drastically. In front of this power, they began to tremble, feeling the threat of death. It was as if this power could crush them to death at any time. The Underworld Empress channeled the Underworld Mysterious Technique and activated the Underworld Mysterious Mirror. Black light rose around her body and turned into afterimages as she tried to block that terrifying power. King Dusher was the most miserable. His most powerful defensive means had been broken by Ling Xiao. At this moment he could only activate the 4 divisions star-slashing blade, and the defensive treasures on his body. Ming Ho and King Dushi were completely terrified. They had decided that as long as they could block this attack, they would immediately run away. And the further the better. Ling Xiao's battle strength was too terrifying, too strange. Rumble. The divine light that filled the sky descended, instantly shattering the heavens and earth. The void turbulence filled the air, as if chaos was repeating itself. Ming Ho and King Dushi were engulfed. The netherworld mysterious mirror was activated by Ming Ho's godhead. The light was extremely dazzling, and its defensive power was unparalleled, blocking nearly 90% of the attack. Although there were many bloody holes on her body, and her body was seriously injured, she still managed to block the attack. As for King Dushi, he was incomparably miserable. The 4 divisions star-slashing blade was directly sent flying, and the defensive treasures on his body were all shattered. Finally, his body exploded into a bloody mist in the divine light, completely destroyed. Only a dazzling godhead was left, wrapping his panic-stricken primordial spirit. This was the fusion of the secret art, the power of the dragon and phoenix secret art. Chapter 963. In the sky, Ling Xiao's body was shrouded in golden light. Behind him, a 7-colored divine dragon and 5-colored phoenix rose, exuding a vast and terrifying aura. Although Ling Xiao's cultivation had reached the 6th level of the venerable realm, the power of this secret technique had almost drained all the energy in his body. However, this attack was extremely terrifying. The underworld queen was severely injured, and King Dushi's body was destroyed, leaving behind only a godhead and primordial spirit. Rumble. Heaven and earth shook, and the baleful aura in the sky was devoured. The sun shone down from the 9 heavens, covering Ling Xiao in a layer of golden light. He looked like a peerless god of war, dazzling to the extreme. Below, the Pangu clan, 9 nether troop, and King Dushi's subordinates saw Ling Xiao's earth-shattering attack. With just one attack, King Dushi and the underworld queen were severely injured and on the verge of death. The 2 god spirit experts were in an extremely sorry state. How is this possible? Even though Pangu was mentally prepared, he was still dumbfounded at this moment. He had heard from Pangu that Ling Xiao was extremely strong, but he had guessed that Ling Xiao would at most be able to withstand the attacks of 2 god spirit experts. He had never thought that Ling Xiao's battle prowess would be so strong. It was as vast as the might of the heavens and unfathomable. The 9 nether troop and King Dushi's subordinates were already retreating under Shui Wei's attacks. But when they saw the scene in the sky, they were all stunned. The invincible underworld queen and King Dushi, who represented invincibility and strength, were like stray dogs at this moment. Their eyes were filled with fear. This was definitely a heavy blow to them. Their remaining fighting spirit had completely disappeared. Young master is so powerful. Shui Wei smiled faintly. Her beautiful big eyes were filled with pride and joy. Her long eyelashes fluttered, and her smile was like a flower that lit up the world. No matter what, Shui Wei had absolute confidence in Ling Xiao. It was an unconditional belief. As long as Ling Xiao was there, Shui Wei wouldn't be afraid even if the whole world was her enemy. Could it be that Senior Ling Xiao is a true god? He's too strong. Pangu Yang's eyes were filled with admiration. Whoosh. The King Heaven Devourer cauldron shone brightly and instantly covered King Dushi's godhead and primordial spirit. Ling Xiao, what are you trying to do? Let me go, or His Majesty won't let you go. Before King Dushi could recover from his shock, the King Heaven Devourer cauldron swallowed him up. Flustered and exasperated, he howled, his voice trembling with terror. The Ling Xiao in front of him was too terrifying. He was not someone he could contend against at the moment. He had never thought that there would be such a terrifying person in this world. What are you doing? Of course it's to kill you. Eyes glittering, Ling Xiao drew on the power of the King Heaven Devourer cauldron to assimilate King Dushi's godhood and nascent divinity. Whoosh. Ming Ho's face was filled with fear. Seeing that Ling Xiao was refining King Dushi, she didn't dare to stay for even a moment. Without saying a word, she shot off into the distance. Where are you going? A sharp light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He didn't intend to let go of the Nether Empress and King Dusher. Rumble. The heavens and earth trembled, and the stars in the sky seemed to be shaking. Ling Xiao punched towards the Underworld Empress. The fist was vast and invincible. It turned into a fist force that was tens of thousands of feet wide, suppressing everything. The void shattered, and a primal chaos mist spread out. Stop him! The Underworld Empress shrieked as she frantically activated the defensive treasure, the Netherworld Blacklight Mirror. At the same time, she gritted her teeth and her entire body exploded. Instantly, she turned into thousands of shadows and shot out in all directions. This was the Netherworld Blacklight Mirror body, a miraculous ability that allowed her to split herself into thousands upon thousands of projections. It was said to be a boundless divine ability for fleeing. Crack! The Netherworld Blacklight Mirror shone with dazzling light as Ling Xiao's fist slammed into it, shattering numerous magical symbols, and causing the Netherworld Blacklight Mirror to shine even more dazzlingly. Terrifying godlight swept out in all directions, destroying more than half of the projections. And yet, the Underworld Empress was still fleeing. Her aura merged with the darkness, making it impossible for Ling Xiao to track her down. Whiz! The Netherworld Blacklight Mirror trembled and wanted to escape. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and he suppressed the Netherworld Blacklight Mirror in an instant, keeping it in his small world. Although he had failed to capture the Underworld Empress, the Netherworld Blacklight Mirror was a part of the War God armor set. With it, Ling Xiao would have a perfect god item. And with that, he would be even stronger than before. Seeing the Underworld Empress flee, King Dusher's soul almost left his body. He began to beg for mercy. Ling Xiao, please spare me. I'm willing to acknowledge you as my master, and give you all the treasures I've accumulated over the years. Please let me go. King Dusher's King Heaven Devourer cauldron contained the magical laws of devouring. Even though the godhood was indestructible, it still seemed like it might melt away at any moment. Therefore, with Ling Xiao suppressing it, there was no way King Dusher could escape. However, Ling Xiao simply chuckled coldly and ignored King Dusher. Instead, he focused on assimilating his godhood and nascent divinity. Ling Xiao could tell that King Dusher was a sinister, despicable, and shameless villain. Leaving someone like him alive would only bring disaster to the world. Therefore, it was better to just kill him. Ling Xiao's cultivation base was progressing too slowly. Perhaps assimilating the power of a godhood would be enough to push his cultivation base to the next level. Seeing that Ling Xiao was determined to kill him, King Dusher knew that he wouldn't be able to escape death. Ling Xiao, you'll die a horrible death. I curse you. I curse you to die without a burial ground. His Majesty won't let you off. He'll definitely avenge me. King Dusher's blood-curdling screams reverberated between heaven and earth, causing the 9 Nether troop and King Dusher's subordinates to feel as if they had just died. Their eyes were filled with terror. Hurry up and run. Suddenly, the 9 Nether troop and King Dusher's subordinates began to frantically flee for their lives. They wanted to leave Fenshin Valley. Kill them all. Shui Wei's eyes flashed with a cold light. Hefting the 6 Daos reincarnation sword, she charged towards Zhua Tiankong. Zhua Tiankong was a titled paragon, second only to the Underworld Empress and King Dusher. Even he had a bad feeling about this, and wanted to flee. However, the might of the Sword of the 6 Paths of Reincarnation was unfathomable. It contained overwhelming might and locked onto him, causing a sliver of despair to appear on his face. Holy daughter, if you kill me, His Majesty won't let you off. Zhua Tiankong said in despair. Is that so? But you'll still have to die. Chapter 964. Under the leadership of Pangu Zhan, Pangu Krag, and Pangu Zhen, the Pangu clan fought with all their might. Only a few managed to escape, but most of the 9 Nether troop and King Dusher's subordinates died in Fenshin Valley. Blood flowed like rivers, and corpses littered the ground. The air was filled with the stench of blood. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao's figure in the sky with a look of admiration and respect. Shui Wei, come here. Ling Xiao's voice suddenly entered Shui Wei's sea of consciousness. All right. Shui Wei smiled faintly and flew up into the sky without the slightest hesitation. Whiz. Ling Xiao's eyes snapped open, and a bolt of golden lightning shot out of them as he tapped Shuewei's forehead. Shuewei was still smiling, and she didn't resist. Her eyes were pure and gentle, and she trusted that Ling Xiao wouldn't harm her. Rumble. A tremendous power surged into Shuewei's body. It contained the mysterious laws of the world. Even a strand of pure power of the soul fused with Shuewei's soul. Shuewei, focus your mind and spirit. Refine this God power, and I'll help you break through. Ling Xiao's voice rang out in Shuewei's sea of consciousness. Shuewei obediently sat down cross-legged and began to refine the God power. Ling Xiao had used the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron and the wordless heavenly tome to erase King Dusher's consciousness, leaving behind only a godhood and the purest of nascent divinity power. If Ling Xiao could refine this power, he might be able to break through to the 7th level of the Paragon realm. But he still felt that he should help Shuewei. Ling Xiao could tell that the 6th Daos reincarnation sword was an incredibly powerful god item, stronger than any he had ever seen. Given Shuewei's current strength, it would be difficult for her to wield it. If Shuewei could break through to the titled Paragon realm, she might be able to fully refine the 6th Daos reincarnation sword and unleash power on the level of a half-step god spirit. King Dusher's godhood and nascent divinity contained the purest of power and magical laws of the Tao of Gods, which was perfect for Shuewei. To help Shuewei stabilize her Tao foundation, Ling Xiao took out 3 9 Revolutions soul return pills and fused them with her nascent divinity. Not only could the 9 transformations soul return pill heal the primordial spirit, but it could also increase the purity and strength of the primordial spirit. King Dusher's godhead, primordial spirit, and the 9 Revolutions soul returning pellet were all supreme treasures. Any 9th level Venerable Realm expert would be able to break through to the titled Venerable Realm in an instant. 1. A pure and flawless divine light gushed out from Shuewei's body. Her entire body was enveloped by the precepts of order. Thunder rumbled between heaven and earth. The heavenly Tao could sense it. It was as if the thunder tribulation would descend at any moment. Ling Xiao looked at Shuewei, who was cultivating with her eyes closed, and a trace of pity appeared on his face. It had been almost 10 years since Ling Xiao left the 8 Desolates region and got separated from Shuewei on the Reincarnation Sea. Shuewei was brought to the Samsara world by the Samsara beast and became the saintess of the Samsara temple. There must be many stories that Ling Xiao did not know about. However, Ling Xiao only knew that Shuewei must have suffered a lot over the years. Back then, the gentle and kind-hearted little girl who had always been by his side and never left him wanted to grow up into a decisive and responsible saintess of Samsara. How much pain and suffering did she have to go through? In a trance, Shuewei was still the innocent, kind, and carefree girl. In just 10 years, Shuewei had grown up. Rumble. A powerful aura burst out from Shuewei's body, causing heaven and earth to tremble, and the void to tremble. Terrifying bolts of lightning descended from the 9 heavens. Although the 9th level Venerable Realm and the titled Venerable Realm were only a small realm apart, there was a huge gap between them. The titled Venerable Realm represented the pinnacle of humanity. It meant that one was only a step away from becoming a divine spirit. One more step, and they would become an immortal divine spirit. The eyes of Peng Gajan and the others below were filled with excitement. They also felt that Shuewei was in the midst of a breakthrough. When Shuewei reached the titled Venerable Realm, she might be able to completely refine the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. Zhu Biao looked at Ling Xiao and Shuewei in the void with a complicated expression. In the Samsara temple, Zhu Biao had never seen Shuewei smile. She was always so cold, wrapping her soft heart with a cold shell. Only then could she shoulder the responsibility of the Samsara temple. Perhaps Ling Xiao was the only one who could make her smile so happily. Zhu Biao felt a little sad. Rumble. Above the firmament, lightning flashed and streaks of thunder tribulation descended, enveloping the entire Fenshan Valley. This was the pinnacle of humanity. There were a total of 81 bolts of lightning, each stronger than the one before. Almost every bolt of lightning was comparable to a titled Venerable Realm strike. Ling Xiao stood outside the lightning tribulation, his eyes shining brightly. Shuewei had to go through the lightning tribulation of a titled Venerable Realm. He couldn't help her. Moreover, after being tempered by the lightning tribulation, one's Tao foundation would be stronger, and one would have a deeper understanding of the heavenly Tao. Bolts of lightning descended, enveloping Shuewei in light. She was still sitting cross-legged in the void, refining the Godhead and the power of the 9 transformations soul return elixir. The 6 paths of reincarnation soared into the sky, its light shining brightly. Every ray of sword radiance was blazing, as if it could split the heavens and earth. It contained a peerless sword will and sharpness. The 6 paths of reincarnation sword struck out 81 times, splitting all 81 bolts of lightning apart. Shuewei's body exuded a strong wave of energy. She had broken through from the 9th rank supreme realm to the titled venerable realm. A feeling of perfection welled up in Shuewei's heart. She slowly opened her eyes. Her gaze was resplendent and bright, like the starry sky in the dark, incomparably beautiful. The 6 paths of reincarnation sword was like an extension of her arm. Shuewei felt that it wouldn't be long before she could completely refine the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. Thank you, young master. Shuewei looked at Ling Xiao, blushing. She smiled shyly. Silly girl, you don't have to be so formal with me. You are now the saintess of the Samsara temple. Don't call me young master anymore. Just call me Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao smiled and rubbed Shuewei's head affectionately. No. Young master is young master. I can give up being the saintess of the Samsara temple, but I'd rather be your maid forever. Shuewei said firmly. I really don't know what to do with you. Ling Xiao said helplessly. Shuewei smiled mischievously. Her white dress fluttered in the wind, and her face was peerless. It was as if the heavens and earth had become brighter. She exuded a pure and holy aura. Young master, I've missed you all these years. I really missed you. Chapter 965. The setting sun sprinkled down a resplendent afterglow, dyeing the entire Fenshin Valley golden. The sky was high, and the boundless evil qi that had shrouded this hell had disappeared after this battle. Ling Xiao and Shuewei sat on top of a mountain, surrounded by clouds and mist. The mountain breeze was cool and refreshing, giving them a sense of transcendence. The experts of the Pangu clan and Zhu Biao had left silently. They were cleaning up the battlefield and putting the bodies of the experts of the Pangu clan into coffins, leaving Ling Xiao and Shuewei alone. Young master, we parted at the reincarnation sea 10 years ago. When you fell into the reincarnation sea, I was heartbroken and thought that I would never see you again. Then, I was brought to the reincarnation world by the reincarnation beast. Shuewei looked at Ling Xiao gently as she recounted her experiences over the years. How did you become the saintess of the reincarnation temple? Ling Xiao asked curiously. Young master, I am actually the daughter of the previous saintess of reincarnation. The saintess of reincarnation is chosen every 10,000 years. When the previous saintess of reincarnation had just succeeded the throne, the war god world was invaded by the extraterrestrial demons. She led the experts of the reincarnation temple to reinforce the war god world. The battle was extremely tragic. The previous saintess, who was my mother, died in battle. Before she died, she sealed me not long after I was born. It was only 10,000 years later that I broke out of the seal. However, I had lost all my memories and cultivation. I was accidentally adopted by the old master, and stayed by your side. It was only after I was brought to the reincarnation temple by the reincarnation beast that I awakened my innate intelligence, and understood my origins. Because I inherited the bloodline of the 9 Nether, I became the new saintess of the reincarnation temple. Shuewei said slowly. Ling Xiao asked, what is the relationship between the reincarnation beast and the reincarnation temple? The reincarnation beast is an immemorial divine beast that lives in the underworld sacred river. Zhu Biao is the reincarnation beast. However, the reincarnation beast was born with a bloodline restriction, and could not leave the underworld sacred river. Zhu Biao unintentionally consumed an ancient divine medicine to break the restriction and transform into a human. In the battle a million years ago, the war god world and the reincarnation world were both destroyed. The reincarnation sea is the water of the underworld sacred river. Therefore, the reincarnation sea is the passage between the two worlds. The Samsara beast is the guardian beast of the Samsara temple. and one of the most powerful forces against the extraterritorial demons. Perhaps it was destined that I would come to the Samsara temple and become the saintess. Shui sighed. And the reincarnation world. The reincarnation of reincarnation. 10,000 years ago, the saintess of Samsara of each generation was the protector of the entire Samsara world. She commanded the Jiuyu Empire and the 10 palace kings. The reincarnation of the reincarnation. Therefore, he took advantage of the fact that the Samsara temple did not have a new saintess to steal the Samsara platform. If not for the Samsara beast's protection, he would have taken the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. With the reincarnation platform, he was not afraid of the great reincarnation oath. He could betray the oath in his bloodline, and betray the entire reincarnation temple. Yin Jiutian was the true ruler of the reincarnation world. If not for the opposition of King Qingguang, King Chujiang and King Songdi, as well as the restrictions of the elders of the reincarnation temple, he would have destroyed the entire reincarnation temple. This time, I was brought back to the Samsara temple by the Samsara beast, and inherited the position of saintess. Yin Jiutian even forced me to marry him on the day of the Samsara sacrificial ceremony. Otherwise, he would destroy the Samsara temple with all his might. Let you marry him? Yin Jiutian is courting death. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with killing intent. Using a slave to bully his master and being ambitious, Yin Jiutian deserved to die 1,000 times. When Shui saw the murderous look on Ling Zhao's face, she sighed softly and said, "Young master, although I don't want to marry Yin Jiutian, the Samsara temple suppresses the world origin of the Samsara world, and the extraterrestrial demons from millions of years ago. If the Samsara temple is destroyed, the extraterrestrial demons will be released, and the entire Samsara world will be plunged into misery and suffering. That's why I feigned civility and promised to marry Yin Jiutian on the day of the reincarnation sacrificial ceremony. At the same time, I sent Zhu Biao and Qing Yin to look for you. Zhu Biao is the reincarnation beast, and Qing Yin is a genius of the reincarnation temple. They met you in the war god Great World, and that's what happened next. The reincarnation beast who brought you to the reincarnation world was Zhu Biao's grandfather, Zhu Tianpeng. Unfortunately, Yin Jiutian intercepted you in the netherworld's sacred river. Zhu Tianpeng was severely injured and sent you to the reincarnation world. Shui told him how Ling Xiao came to the reincarnation world. Ling Xiao sighed and looked at Shui with pity. Shui, you must have suffered a lot these years. But from today onwards, no one can force you to do anything, not even Yin Jiutian. I will take his life. Young master, I know you are very powerful, but don't underestimate Yin Jiutian. Not only has his primordial spirit fused with the Godhead, but he has also collected countless divine herbs from the reincarnation world to refine his body. I suspect that even if he hasn't become a god yet, his body is not far from becoming a god. His strength is much stronger than King Dusher's, Shui said with a solemn expression. Don't worry, I will not underestimate Yin Jiutian. He has become the 9 Nether Emperor and cultivated for tens of thousands of years. If he does not have enough battle strength, I will be disappointed. This battle is not only about your happiness, but also about the people of the reincarnation world. So, I will not hold back. Yin Jiutian must die. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with a sharp light. I know young master is the best, Shui said with a smile. She was infatuated with Ling Zhao's unreasonable confidence, and she was full of confidence in Ling Xiao. Ling Zhao's appearance made her feel as if the burden on her shoulders had been lightened. She was indescribably relaxed. Shui, you said that the extraterrestrial demon was sealed in the origin sea. What do you mean? Ling Xiao thought of Shui's words and could not help but be moved. I read about it in the ancient books of the reincarnation temple. The battle 1,000,000 years ago swept across the heavens and thousands of worlds. Countless creatures died in the battle. If it were not for the Scarlet Dragon War God, perhaps the heavens and thousands of worlds would have been occupied by the extraterrestrial demon. The first saintess of reincarnation seemed to have an inexplicable relationship with the Scarlet Dragon War God. 1,000,000 years ago, the first saintess of reincarnation sacrificed her life to seal the extraterrestrial demon in the Origin Sea. But the extraterrestrial demon was very strong and tenacious. It was constantly thinking of breaking the seal and returning to the reincarnation world. The experts of the reincarnation temple, the Pangu clan, the 9 Nether Empire, and the 10 Hall Kings would send people to the Origin Sea every 10,000 years to suppress the extraterrestrial demon. If it were not for their sacrifice, the reincarnation world would have fallen long ago. Shuewei sighed. Dying in the Origin Sea was the mission of the Saintess of Reincarnation. Those who had not entered the Origin Sea could not imagine the power of the extraterrestrial demon. Chapter 966. Are there any extraterrestrial demons sealed in the War God Great World's Origin Sea? Ling Xiao's heart trembled as he asked Shuewei nervously. Ling Xiao suddenly recalled that he had accidentally entered the Origin Sea in the God Burial Cave, and saw Jin Sei's figure. Also, Jin Sei looked exactly the same as the spiritual sage. The truth gradually unfolded in front of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao suddenly thought, could Jin Sei be resisting the extraterrestrial demons in the Origin Sea? Thinking of this, Ling Xiao's heart began to tremble. The extraterrestrial demons were so powerful. How long could Jin Sei last? Although Shuewei was a little puzzled by Ling Xiao's reaction, she still said, definitely. The War God Great World was the center of the catastrophe 1,000,000 years ago. Therefore, the most powerful extraterrestrial devils must be sealed in the Sea of Origin of the War God Great World. Perhaps someone has been fighting and guarding there all this time. After hearing the answer from Shuewei's mouth, Ling Xiao's heart was filled with excitement. He even thought of returning to the War God Great World to look for Jin Sei, but he resisted the urge. Young master, what's wrong? Jin Sei asked doubtfully. Shuewei, do you know? I'm actually not the Ling Xiao in your memory. Ling Xiao sighed softly and said slowly. In front of Shuewei, Ling Xiao suddenly revealed the secret that he had suppressed in his heart. Since Ling Xiao's rebirth, there were only a few people who could make him trust without reservation, and Shuewei was definitely one of them. Young master, what do you mean? Shuewei tilted her head and asked doubtfully. I'm the most powerful person in the War God Great World 10,000 years ago. The sky-devouring Supreme Ling Xiao. 10,000 years ago, I went to explore the Scarlet Dragon War God's tomb with my good friend the True Dragon Supreme. After we found the Scarlet Dragon War God's godhead, the True Dragon Supreme ambushed me and stole the godhead. Ling Xiao told Shuewei his true identity. From how Ling Xiao became the sky-devouring Supreme in his previous life, to how he met Jin Sei, and was killed by the True Dragon Supreme's sneak attack. After reincarnation, he was reborn 10,000 years later, and met Shuewei in the longevity sect. Ling Xiao told Shuewei everything. Shuewei also widened her eyes in surprise. Her small mouth opened slightly, looking very cute. Young master, it's no wonder that after you were seriously injured and unconscious, you woke up like a completely different person. You've become a peerless genius. Shuewei exclaimed in surprise. Only now did she recall Ling Xiao's strange behavior. Ling Xiao had awakened the memories of his previous life. He had lived 2 lives and was the heaven-devouring supreme in his previous life. Naturally, he knew the martial arts of the longevity sect like the back of his hand. Furthermore, he was extremely talented and his cultivation had improved by leaps and bounds. Many doubts were cleared up in Shuewei's heart. Young master, no matter what, you are the young master in my memory. Shuewei said seriously. Silly girl. Thank you. Ling Xiao smiled and patted Shuewei's head. These secrets had been suppressed in Ling Xiao's heart for a long time. Now that he had told Shuewei, Ling Xiao actually felt an indescribable sense of relief. Young master, so you haven't found Big Sister Jin Sei after your reincarnation? Shuewei suddenly raised her head. Her face was full of smiles, but there was a flash of sadness in her eyes. No, you just mentioned the Origin Sea. If I'm not wrong, Jin Sei should be in the Origin Sea. Ling Xiao said slowly. He did not notice the strange look in Shuewei's eyes. There was a trace of excitement in her eyes. That's great. Young master, I believe that you will definitely find Big Sister Jin Sei. Shuewei said seriously. I believe so too. Ling Xiao smiled and said with a trace of anticipation in his eyes. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on Ling Xiao and Shui Wei, elongating their shadows. However, for some reason, Shui Wei's back view looked lonely and sad. The capital of the Empire of Nine Nether capital. The Nether Queen's figure appeared in a mysterious void. She looked extremely miserable. Her aura was chaotic and her face was extremely pale. She looked at the Emperor of Nine Nether with some respect and said slowly, "Your Majesty, the mission has failed. King Dusher has also died in battle." Rumble. Chaotic mist filled the void and the void shook. A pair of domineering and majestic eyes opened instantly. It was as though there was a divine light that could split the heavens and the earth. What happened? Yin Jiotian's voice was indifferent, but there was a trace of shock in it. The Nether Queen and King Dusher had extremely strong combat strength. They were considered supreme experts in the entire reincarnation world. Yin Jiotian was shocked that the mission, which was supposed to be foolproof, had failed. King Dusher and I met a man called Ling Xiao. Although Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the 6th level of the Venerable Realm, his combat strength was extremely terrifying. He was able to use the true divine power. King Dusher was killed by him, and my Netherworld Blacklight Mirror was also snatched away by him. The Nether Queen said sadly, "Ling Xiao? Him again?" Yin Jiotian's eyes surged with sharpness as though they could tear the void apart. "Your Majesty, do you know this person?" The Nether Queen asked doubtfully. "According to my calculations, this person is likely to be the biggest variable in this reincarnation sacrificial ceremony. I have sent people to kill him twice, but he escaped each time. It seems like I have to do it myself." Yin Jiotian said coldly, "Your Majesty has not returned. Can a doppelganger kill Ling Xiao?" The Nether Queen asked carefully. "It doesn't matter. Let him be arrogant for a while. I will kill him personally during the reincarnation sacrificial ceremony. No variable will be able to escape from my grasp." Yin Jiotian said indifferently. There seemed to be peerless sharpness in his eyes. "Yes. Your Majesty is invincible. Ling Xiao will definitely die," the Nether Queen said respectfully. In Fenshin Valley, this was a small world. It was protected by a powerful array of the Pengu clan. The small world was filled with towering ancient trees and beautiful mountains and rivers. It exuded an ancient and mysterious aura. The Pengu clan built palaces with huge stones, forming a huge complex of buildings. Ling Xiao and Shui Wei entered Fenshin Valley under the escort of Pengu Zhan and Pengu Yan. Shui Wei was the reincarnation saintess, and Ling Xiao was the savior of the Pengu clan. He had won the highest respect from the Pengu clan. Clan leader of the Pengu clan, I heard from Xiaoyang that there is a bloodline shackle in your body that prevents you from breaking through to the supremacy realm. Can you show me? Maybe I can find a way to break the bloodline shackle. Ling Xiao looked at Pengu Zhan and said with a smile. What? Ling Xiao's words shocked Pengu Zhan and the others. Their eyes were filled with surprise and disbelief. Brother Ling, is what you said true? Is there a way to break the bloodline shackle in our body? Pengu Zhan looked at Ling Xiao with excitement. He found it hard to believe, but he was full of expectation. All the experts of the Pengu clan were excited. They stared at Ling Xiao and waited for his answer. Chapter 967. The bloodline shackles of the Pengu clan had lasted for millions of years. It was said that during the catastrophe millions of years ago, the bloodline of the Pengu clan was shackled by a great existence, preventing them from breaking through to the supreme realm in their lifetime. Over the years, the experts of the Pengu clan had tried all kinds of methods, but to no avail. Therefore, when Ling Xiao said that he could break the bloodline shackles of the Pengu clan, they were greatly shocked. Although the experts of the Pengu clan couldn't reach the supreme realm, and the highest cultivation level was only half a step away from the tribulation of the four symbols, their physical talents were unparalleled. The strongest of the clan could even fight against titled Supreme Realm experts with their physical strength alone. They had resisted the extraterrestrial demons for countless years, and became the sturdy barrier of the entire reincarnation world. However, if the bloodline shackles could be broken, the experts of the Pengu clan might become the strongest in the entire reincarnation world. After all, The talent of the Pangu clan was unprecedented and unparalleled. That's right. I believe that Zhu Biao has already told everyone that my name is Ling Xiao, and I come from the War God world. In the War God world, there are two major clans, the Fengshui clan and the Tomb King city, whose bloodline shackles were also shackled. However, we found the 9 volumes of destiny passed down from the ancient times and broke their bloodline shackles. I have checked Xiao Yang's body, and the shackles in his bloodline are very similar to the shackles in the Fengshui clan and the Tomb King city. Therefore, I believe that the 9 volumes of destiny should be effective on you. Ling Xiao looked at Pengazhan and the others and said slowly, 9 volumes of destiny. A white-haired old man of the Pangu clan suddenly exclaimed, his eyes brimming with excitement. Third uncle, is there anything wrong with the 9 volumes of destiny? Pengazhan looked at the elder and asked. Everyone was full of respect for the elder. His name was Panguwan, and he was the oldest member of the Pangu clan. It was said that he had taken the ancient divine medicine and had lived for more than 10,000 years. He was also the strongest member of the Pangu clan. Panguwan excitedly looked at Ling Xiao and said with a trembling voice, I've heard from the previous scientists that the 9 chapters of destiny contain the power of destiny. It can defy the heavens and change fate. Maybe it can break the bloodline seal of our Pangu clan. But the 9 chapters of destiny only exist in legends. Our reincarnation world can't find them at all. So the scientists guessed that the 9 chapters of destiny might exist in the War God Great World. Young friend Ling actually has the 9 chapters of destiny. The heavens are truly protecting our Pangu clan. Panguwen's eyes were brimming with tears as he bowed deeply to Ling Xiao, his eyes filled with gratitude. Please rise, old gentleman. I'm destined to be with the Pangu clan. Speaking of which, Senior Pangachu was my savior. It's only reasonable that I unseal your bloodline, Ling Xiao said with a smile. He had long given Pangachu's body to Pangu Yang. Pangachu was the 3,600th patriarch of the Pangu clan. His return had caused the Pangu clan to boil with excitement. Especially the complete reincarnation divine ability. It was of great significance to the entire Pangu clan. With the reincarnation divine ability, the Pangu clan could refine the life essence in the Yellow Spring Sacred River and obtain a longer lifespan. Brother Ling, the Pangu clan will never forget the great kindness you have shown us. Pengazhan, Panguyen, and the others looked at each other before bowing deeply to Ling Xiao and said solemnly, Everyone, there's no need to be so polite. Pangu clan leader, let me take a look at the bloodline seal in your body and see if the 9 chapters of destiny can undo it. Ling Xiao said with a smile. All right. Pengazhan did not hesitate as he sat cross-legged in front of Ling Xiao, allowing Ling Xiao to do whatever he wanted. Pengazhan was more than 300 feet tall. Even when he sat cross-legged, he was still like a small mountain. His body exuded an unparalleled aura. His blood essence filled the sky. His powerful physical strength was probably comparable to a titled supreme. Ling Xiao estimated that Pengazhan's physical body should be equivalent to a true dragon body at the Great Success stage. It was only slightly weaker than Ling Xiao's current body. The heavens were indeed fond of the Pangu clan. Ling Xiao sighed in his heart. Then he gathered his thoughts and flew to Pengazhan's chest. He pointed at Pengazhan's heart. The heart was the source of blood. The bloodline seal of the Pangu clan originated from the heart and traveled through the 5 viscera and 6 bowels. It flowed throughout the body and merged with the primordial spirit and sea of consciousness. It firmly sealed their cultivation base. A mysterious aura spread out from Ling Xiao's fingertip and spread towards Pengazhan's heart. A vast and mysterious aura exuded from Ling Xiao's body. At this moment, Ling Xiao was like a heavenly emperor who ruled over the fate of all life. Everyone's heart trembled as they felt the urge to kneel down and worship him. Ling Xiao had activated the Heavens Will secret skill. The Heavens Will secret skill was the combination of the 9 chapters of destiny and the Great Heavens Will technique. It was a peerless secret skill manifested from the wordless heavenly book and ranked second among the 108 secret skills. Moreover, the Heavens Will secret skill that Ling Xiao had obtained was only an incomplete secret skill. However, The Heavens Will secret skill could faintly communicate with the legendary river of fate and control life and death. It also gave Ling Xiao a vision that transcended the world. Ling Xiao could faintly see countless mysterious lines entwined around Peng Gejan's heart. They contained the extremely vast power of laws, and were connected to the origin of his primordial spirit. Moreover, all the members of the Pengu clan were sealed by these mysterious lines. There was an ancient rune above their head that prevented them from communicating with the laws of the world, and severed their path of cultivation. Ling Xiao felt his heart tremble when he saw these lines and runes. He felt his own insignificance, so he guessed that this was the power left behind by an extremely powerful existence. Just what kind of deep hatred was there to leave behind a sealing force in the bloodline of the Pengu clan, preventing their descendants from breaking through to a higher realm for all eternity? Ling Xiao operated the Heavens Will secret skill. Immediately, his body shone brightly. Divine chains of order traversed the void and instantly turned into a golden barrier that enveloped Peng Gejan. Although the sealing force was very powerful, it was like ice meeting fire in front of the power of the Heavens Will secret skill. It began to melt slowly. This process didn't last long. After a few hours, a vast and powerful aura gushed out from Peng Gejan. Chapter 968. This is the Supreme Being Tribulation. The clan leader is going to undergo the Supreme Being Tribulation. The bloodline shackles in his body have disappeared. Ha ha ha. Peng Guwen laughed excitedly, his eyes filled with ecstasy. No one had expected Ling Xiao to break free from Peng Gejan's bloodline shackles so quickly. Peng Gejan had accumulated a lot of energy. After the bloodline shackles disappeared, he instantly broke through to the Supreme Being realm, and started to undergo the Supreme Being Tribulation. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled as huge lightning bolts fell from the sky towards Peng Gejan, as if they were going to destroy him completely. Peng Gejan actually opened his eyes in an instant. His eyes were filled with monstrous battle intent, filled with surprise and wild divine light. He instantly soared into the sky, and a huge fist light smashed towards the lightning tribulation that filled the sky. Peng Gejan's Supreme Being realm had a total of 81 lightning bolts. It was already considered a Supreme Being Tribulation. However, Peng Gejan's physical body was too terrifying. Although the 81 lightning bolts were strong, they couldn't do anything to Peng Gejan. Instead, they were all shattered by Peng Gejan's fist. Boom! Peng Gejan sat cross-legged in the void. After the lightning bolts disappeared, heaven and earth trembled as the essence of heaven and earth surged into his body. First level of the Supreme Being realm. Second level of the Supreme Being realm. Third level of the Supreme Being realm. Peng Gejan's cultivation started to rise crazily. Peng Gejan had accumulated a lot of energy. This time, he broke through from the first level of the Supreme Being realm to the peak of the 9th level of the Supreme Being realm. He was just a hair's breadth away from entering the titled Supreme Being realm. This kind of terrifying speed of improvement left everyone dumbfounded. Ling Xiao was also amazed. Other than the fact that Peng Gejan had accumulated a lot of energy, it was more important that the Pengu clan was too talented. They were naturally close to the Tao of heaven and earth. Therefore, breaking through was as easy as eating and drinking for them. When Peng Gejan's cultivation reached the peak of the 9th level of the Supreme Being realm, he woke up. There was less of a bloody aura on his body, but there was more of an ethereal and mysterious temperament. It was as if he was a Vajra who had put down his butcher's knife and become a Buddha on the spot. There were some divine fluctuations on his body. His eyes were deep and bright, as if he could see through the origin of this world, see through the flow of time and space, and see the unknown world. Shackles have been broken, and time and space have spun. Only today do I know who I am. Peng Gejan recited a poem. It was loud and clear, as if he was enlightened, causing everyone to tremble. Thank you so much, Brother Ling. I can't thank you enough. If you need my help in the future, the Pengu clan will be willing to die 1,000 times. Peng Gejan said as he looked deeply at Ling Xiao. Chief Pengu, you are being too serious. Time flies when the confinement is broken. And I don't know who I am until today. That's a very good saying. Has the chief of the Pangu clan figured out the source of the confinement of your bloodline? Ling Xiao smiled and looked at Pang Gazhan curiously as he spoke. Hearing Ling Xiao's words, Xue Wei, Zhu Biao, and the many experts of the Pangu clan were shocked. They looked at Pang Gazhan with anticipation. The confinement of the Pangu clan's bloodline was too mysterious. Almost no one knew its origin. Even if they wanted to take revenge, they didn't know who to look for. That's right. I saw some marks in the bloodline inheritance, and finally understood the origin of the Pangu clan. So, that's where we came from. Pang Gazhan sighed and pointed to the sky. The God realm? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. When he helped Pang Gazhan break the confinement of his bloodline, he already felt that the power was something that ordinary gods couldn't achieve. Perhaps only the legendary god kings and sages of the God realm could do it. Therefore, Ling Xiao also suspected the true origin of the Pangu clan. That's right. My Pangu clan did come from the God realm. After the great calamity 1,000,000 years ago, we came to the myriad worlds. However, a certain big shot in the God realm planted a bloodline confinement in us, making us unable to become a supreme being forever. Pang Gazhan said slowly. His eyes revealed a trace of cold sharpness. A big shot in the God realm? What kind of grudge did he have with the Pangu clan for him to do such a thing? Ling Xiao asked in surprise. I don't know. It's been too long. However, if my Pangu clan can return to the God realm, we might be able to find our enemy. Pang Gazhan shook his head. Pang Gazhan's words shocked everyone. They didn't expect the Pangu clan to come from the center of the myriad worlds, the eternal God realm. This news was simply too shocking. At the same time, they were incomparably furious. To chase the Pangu clan out of the God realm, and leave such a vicious bloodline confinement. This person wanted to completely annihilate the Pangu clan. Who could be so vicious? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He thought of the Fengshui family and Tomb King City. Could it be that they were also from the God realm? Young friend Ling Xiao, I'll have to trouble you to release the confinement of the bloodline for everyone in the Pangu clan. Please. Pang Gazhan solemnly bowed to Ling Xiao. No problem. Ling Xiao nodded and said. He had just unlocked Pang Gazhan's bloodline shackles, and was only using the Heavens Will secret law, so he wasn't too familiar with it. However, it wouldn't be difficult for him to unlock several people's bloodline shackles at the same time. Originally, the Pangu clan had more than 1,000 people. However, after this battle, 200 people died in battle, leaving only 800 people alive. Ling Xiao used a month's time to finally release the confinement of the 800 people of the Pangu clan. Rumble. For the past few days, there were lightning tribulations descending from the sky almost every moment in the Fenshin Valley. The experts of the Pangu clan who had released the confinement of the bloodline began to undergo the supremacy tribulation. Out of the 800 people of the Pangu clan, 300 of them finally broke through from the half-supremacy realm to the supremacy realm after releasing the confinement of the bloodline. Most of the remaining 500 people were emperors. Even a newborn baby had the strength of a noble. The talent of the Pangu clan was too terrifying. If it weren't for their difficulty in reproduction, it would not be difficult for them to unify the entire reincarnation world, or even become the only overlord of the myriad worlds. However, the strength of 300 supremacy realm experts was extremely terrifying. It should be known that before the supremacy tribulation, the experts of the Pangu clan were already able to compete with supremacy realm experts. After becoming supremacy realm experts, they could even defeat those who were a few levels higher than them. This huge force might not be able to sweep across the reincarnation world, but it was much more likely that they would be able to contend with the Nine Nether Emperor. After all, the Nine Nether Emperor was unfathomable, and had many experts under his command. No matter how strong Ling Xiao was, he would not be able to contend with the entire Nine Nether Empire. With so many people undergoing the supremacy tribulation, the Fenshin Valley will be completely destroyed. Let's leave here and go to the Samsara Temple. At that time, with the help of the temple elders, we will be able to contend with Yin Jiutian in the Samsara ceremony. Chapter 969. Okay. We'll listen to the Saintess. Pang Gazhan said without hesitation. The secret land of Fenshan Valley was only a temporary shelter for the Pangu clan. Since it had been discovered by Yin Jiotian, there was no point in staying here any longer. Moreover, the experts of the Pangu clan had gone through the supremacy tribulation and had devoured almost all the essence of heaven and earth in the secret land. The Pangu clan were the most loyal subordinates of the Saintess of Samsara, so they had no objections. After packing up, they followed Shuewei and headed to the Samsara temple. Rumble. A black void treasure ship pierced through the space and shuttled through the void turbulence toward the Samsara temple. Brother Ling Xiao, the Samsara temple is located in a small world. It was created by the first Saintess of Samsara in the Origin Sea to suppress the extraterrestrial demons in the Origin Sea. Shuewei and Ling Xiao stood on the deck of the void treasure ship and explained slowly. Looking from the void turbulence, the entire Samsara world looked like a huge egg. They shuttled through the outside of the egg and headed toward the center in a very mysterious trajectory. That was the Origin Sea. The Origin Sea was dazzling and emitted colorful divine light. Mysterious Dharma lines intertwined and endless chaotic mist filled the air. Vaguely, there seemed to be scenes of the birth and destruction of countless worlds. The Origin Sea of the Samsara world looked very similar to the Origin Sea of the War God world that Ling Xiao had seen before. They were both the centers of the origin laws and power of a world, representing order and origin. Observing the Origin Sea at such a close distance, and observing the birth and destruction marks of a world, was of great significance to a martial artist. Rumble. A mysterious barrier appeared in front of him. It was the barrier of the Origin Sea. Ling Xiao had seen it before. At that time, he felt that the barrier of the Origin Sea could only be broken by a true god. The Origin Source Sea was like a real sea. Waves surged into the sky, and the power of laws surged in vast. Countless strange scenes appeared. The first Saintess of Samsara must be a real deity to be able to create a world in the Origin Sea. Ling Xiao sighed softly. He thought of the Scarlet Dragon War God, and the 4 great generals under him. Could it be that they all came from the God realm? Even Ling Xiao couldn't open a small world in the Origin Sea. Even a half-step divine being couldn't do it, because the power involved was too profound and powerful. The first reincarnation Saintess should be a heavenly god from the deity world. But too much time had passed, and it was impossible to verify. The 6 paths of reincarnation sword in my hand is the sword of the first reincarnation Saintess. It can open the barrier and enter the Origin Sea. Shuewei explained softly. 1. The 6 paths of reincarnation sword instantly soared through the sky with dazzling light and mysterious power of laws. It instantly resonated with the Origin Sea. The Origin Sea began to tremble. From the depths of the Origin Sea, a dazzling rainbow bridge appeared. It directly opened the barrier of the Origin Sea and extended to Ling Xiao and the others. What a powerful 6 paths of reincarnation sword. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could feel the terrifying power of the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. Its power was much stronger than that of King Dusher and the Underworld Empress. This divine weapon was the most powerful divine weapon Ling Xiao had ever seen besides the wordless heavenly book. The void treasure ship instantly landed on the Rainbow Bridge and turned into a stream of light, shooting toward the Origin Sea at an extremely fast speed. Rumble. It was as if the world had been pierced through. Dazzling light shone in front of them, and then they came to a mysterious space. It was shrouded in clouds and mist, looking extremely mysterious. The stars above the 9th heaven were dazzling and extremely clear. In front of them, there was an ancient and majestic immemorial sacred mountain floating in the chaos. The sacred mountain was shrouded in clouds and mist, with towering ancient trees and palaces. It emitted dazzling divine light, as if it was the residence of a god. The sacred mountain was tens of thousands of feet tall, exuding an ancient and desolate aura. It was filled with the purest essence of heaven and earth. Ling Xiao felt that cultivating here for a day would be better than cultivating outside for 100 days. It was no wonder that Shuewei could reach such a realm in such a short time. In addition to the foundation and resources of the Samsara temple, she had benefited from the mystery of this space. It could be said that this was the place closest to the Origin Sea. Swoosh. Swoosh. After the void treasure ship entered this space, Hundreds of figures came down from the sacred mountain. They were hundreds of warriors in black armor, and their auras were powerful and cold. Almost all of them were at the half-step to supreme martial artist realm and above. The leader of the group was a handsome young man with a tall and slender figure. However, his face was cold and his aura was sharp like a divine sword that had been unsheathed. His cultivation had already reached the 6th level of the supreme martial artist realm. "Greetings, Saintess. I'm Luo Fei." When the young man saw Shui Wei, he immediately went down on one knee and bowed. "General Luo, please rise. You have followed the Great Elder to conquer the demon clan for 3 years, right? I didn't expect you to return so soon. How was the battle?" Shui Wei asked Luo Fei. She carried the 6 paths of reincarnation sword on her back, and her white dress fluttered in the wind. Reporting to the Saintess, we have killed a total of 18 devil kings, 132 devil generals, and over 30,000 experts below the devil general level. However, the Great Elder was injured by a demon god, so the second elder is in charge of the Samsara army. We are here to welcome the Saintess. Luo Fei gave a brief overview of the situation. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback as well. A demon king was equivalent to a titled sovereign. The Samsara temple must be very powerful to have reaped such a bountiful harvest in a single operation. However, after hearing Luo Fei's words, Shui Wei frowned slightly. "Shui Wei, is there something wrong?" Ling Xiao asked when he saw Shui Wei's expression. "Young master, the Samsara army is the most powerful force of the Samsara temple. Originally, there were 1,000,000 Samsara soldiers guarding the Origin Sea. However, without the Saintess to control the Samsara temple for the past 10,000 years, the Samsara soldiers have suffered heavy casualties. Although there have been reinforcements, there are only 100,000 soldiers left. After I returned, our relationship with the Empire of Juyo has deteriorated. Yin Jiutian wants to marry me and take over the Samsara temple. The Great Elder is on my side, but the second elder thinks that I should marry Yin Jiutian. Although the Great Elder is in charge of the Samsara army, the second elder is on the side of the other elders. The two sides are in a stalemate. Now that the Great Elder is seriously injured and the Samsara army has been taken over by the second elder, I'm afraid we will be in big trouble." Shui Wei explained. "What's the cultivation of the second elder?" Ling Xiao asked. "A titled supreme martial artist." Ling Xiao sneered. "There are people everywhere who don't know what's good for them. Let's wait and see. If he isn't Yin Jiutian's man, we may spare his life. However, if he dares to collude with Yin Jiutian, we will kill him directly." Ling Xiao understood the meaning behind Shui Wei's words. She suspected that the second elder was Yin Jiutian's man. The Samsara beast had brought Ling Xiao to the Samsara world, and was intercepted by Yin Jiutian. Yin Jiutian had sent people to deal with Ling Xiao several times. All these indicated that there might be a traitor in the Samsara temple. Chapter 970. Young Master is right. In the past, my cultivation wasn't high enough, and I could only maintain the balance between the two sides. But now that you are here, if second elder doesn't know what's good for him, he deserves to die," Shui Wei said with a smile. Shui Wei and Ling Xiao were communicating through their primordial spirits, so no one could hear their conversation. Only Luo Fei looked surprised. He could vaguely sense that the young man before him had a special relationship with the Holy Maiden. "Holy Maiden, second elder is waiting for you at the Samsara temple. Please follow me." Luo Fei suppressed his thoughts and said to Shui Wei, "Lead the way." Shui Wei said flatly. The void treasure ship flew towards the Samsara temple at the top of the sacred mountain. "Ling Xiao, the second elder is not a good person. That useless son of his even dared to have designs on the Saintess. I'm afraid that nothing good will happen later. Please protect the Saintess well." Zhu Biao suddenly walked to Ling Xiao's side and said to him, "Don't worry." Ling Xiao said with a smile. There was a sharp glint in his eyes. However, before the void treasure ship could reach the top of the mountain, a figure stopped it. It was a young man in a black robe. He was handsome, tall, and had skin like jade. He had an extraordinary temperament, and his cultivation had reached level 3 supreme realm. He saw Shui Wei on the spatial treasure ship at a glance, and his eyes were immediately filled with passion. "Shuewei, you're back? This time, my father and I went on a crusade against the demon race, and obtained a heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl. It is said to be a treasure of the heavenly demon race that can defend against primordial spirits, and increase the purity of one's primordial spirits. I specially gave it to you. Do you like it?" The young man in the black robe landed on the void treasure ship and walked toward Shuewei. Buzz. A snow-white jade box appeared in his hand. When he opened it, a pearl that shone with 7-colored light appeared. It was dazzling and gave off an extremely mysterious ripple, as if it could devour a person's soul. "Ling Xiao, this is Second Elder Lu Yan's son Lu Mingrui. He has overestimated himself, and wants to marry the Holy Maiden. Do as you see fit." Zhu Biao sent a voice transmission to Ling Xiao, and his voice carried a trace of schadenfreude. Ling Xiao's gaze landed on the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl. Strands of 7-colored mist emanated from the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl, emitting an intoxicating fragrance that drifted toward Shuewei. A cold light flashed through Ling Xiao's eyes. He struck out with his palm, and instantly sent the celestial demon 7 illusory orb flying, shattering the 7-colored fog. Ling Xiao's primordial spirit was powerful, and he had cultivated the heavens will secret law. He had reached a godlike level and could foresee danger. Although he didn't know what the celestial demon 7 illusory pearl was, he felt that something was wrong with it. That was why he took action. "Bastard! Who are you? How dare you attack me? You're courting death. Luo Fei, take him down." LV Mingrui was instantly enraged. His eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent as he stared at Ling Xiao. Yes. Without hesitation, Luo Fei led the Samsara army soldiers to charge at Ling Xiao. "Who dares to be so presumptuous?" Shuewei's eyes turned cold as she shouted softly. Luo Fei and the Samsara army soldiers were stunned. Then they retreated embarrassedly. "Young master, what's the matter?" Shuewei looked at Ling Xiao and asked. She knew that Ling Xiao would not attack for no reason. The heavenly demon 7 illusory orb was indeed very beautiful and dazzling. However, Shuewei also vaguely felt that something was wrong. "Shuewei, there's something wrong with the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl. I suspect that there's something in it that's harmful to you. That's why I opened it." Ling Xiao said flatly. "Bastard! Who the hell are you? The heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl is a supreme treasure. It's a gift that I sincerely gave to the Holy Maiden. How dare you slander me? Saintess, let me kill this arrogant fellow." LV Mingrui's eyes were gloomy as he stared at Ling Xiao. His heart skipped a beat. The tricks in the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl were very well hidden. Even titled supremes shouldn't be able to detect them. How could this guy know? Could it be that he was spouting nonsense? Ling Xiao didn't reveal his cultivation level. Although he had an extraordinary temperament, he didn't have the aura of an expert. Therefore, LV Mingrui didn't take him seriously. LV Mingrui was especially jealous when he heard Shuewei call Ling Xiao young master. Her gentle smile made him go crazy. He had been in the Samsara temple for so long, but he had never seen Shuewei smile. Who the hell was this bastard? LV Mingrui, how dare you? Hand over the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl. If it's not tampered with, I'll clear your name. Shuewei said coldly as she looked at LV Mingrui. Shuewei knew what LV Mingrui was thinking. However, she was angry that he dared to do something to Shuewei. She believed that Ling Xiao wouldn't make things up. Therefore, there must be something wrong with the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl. Holy Maiden, you'd rather side with an outsider than believe me. How disappointing. I don't think you're fit to be the Holy Maiden of the Samsara Temple. This brat will die today. You won't be able to save him. LV Mingrui said arrogantly in a cold voice. He had indeed tampered with the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl. Therefore, he couldn't take it out now. Otherwise, it would be troublesome if someone found out about it. LV Mingrui had been arrogant since he was young. He had always thought of himself as the future ruler of the Samsara Temple. He wanted to marry Shuewei so that he could control the Samsara Temple. When he saw Shuewei siding with Ling Xiao, he was burning with jealousy. He showed his arrogant side and didn't give Shuewei any face. Luo Fei and the others' faces darkened. Although they obeyed the orders of the second elder, the Holy Maiden was the Holy Maiden of the Samsara Temple. Who would dare to disrespect her? LV Mingrui deserved to die. Holy Maiden, the Pangu clan hasn't returned for a long time. It seems that someone has forgotten about us. This bastard dares to blaspheme the Holy Maiden. He deserves to die. Let me kill him for you. Pangu stepped forward and exuded a terrifying aura. He looked at LV Mingrui coldly, and LV Mingrui felt as if he had fallen into an icy abyss. The Pangu clan? Didn't you all get wiped out by Yin Jiutian? How can you all still be alive? Sensing the terrifying aura, LV Mingrui instantly sensed that it was indeed an expert of the Pangu clan. He trembled all over, and his eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. How did you know that we were wiped out by Yin Jiutian? Are you Yin Jiutian's spy? Pangu said as he stared at LV Mingrui with a cold killing intent in his eyes. Chapter 971. You are slandering me. Although I am fighting against the devil race, I have also heard about Yin Jiutian's expedition against Fenshin Valley. Humph, since the Saintess is unwilling to accept the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl, then I will take my leave. LV Mingrui also felt that the situation was not right. He said in a threatening manner, and turned to leave the void treasure ship. You want to leave? Show me the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes flashed, and he reached out to grab the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl in LV Mingrui's hand. You are courting death. LV Mingrui was furious, and his eyes flashed with killing intent. If Ling Xiao had not ruined his plan, the Saintess might have been his. Ling Xiao deserved to die. LV Mingrui punched toward Ling Xiao. The fist print was cold and vicious, containing an evil spirit that could tear everything, as if it could freeze a person's primordial spirit into powder. Ling Xiao's expression did not change, and he still reached out to grab it. Boom. The cold evil spirit was directly crushed by Ling Xiao's grasp. Ling Xiao directly grabbed LV Mingrui's arm and tore it. Ah! LV Mingrui let out a miserable howl. Suddenly, one of his arms was directly torn off by Ling Xiao. The heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl also fell into Ling Xiao's hands. Bastard, you deserve to die, you deserve to die. I will not let you go. My father will definitely kill you. LV Mingrui screamed again and again. His eyes were filled with incomparable resentment as he stared at Ling Xiao. How dare you disrespect Brother Ling? Even if your father is here, it is useless. Pangu widened his eyes and immediately kicked Lu Mingrui's chest, breaking all of his ribs. LV Mingrui suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and smashed into the wall of the ship in the distance. Then Pangu stepped on his chest. LV Mingrui, you dare to have ideas about the Saintess? You are simply courting death. If you dare to say another word, I will kill you directly. Pangu said coldly. LV Mingrui met Pangu murderous eyes and suddenly shivered all over. He did not dare to say another word. Ling Xiao did not look at LV Mingrui. His gaze landed on the heavenly demon 7 illusory orb. The heavenly demon 7 illusory orb looked very dazzling. It emitted a dazzling 7-colored light, and there seemed to be some kind of 7-colored fog spreading out from it. Ling Xiao could faintly see an incomparably mysterious and complicated rune within the heavenly fiend 7 illusory orb. It's the enchantment curse? Damn it! Ling Xiao's gaze trembled and instantly became incomparably cold. Enchantment curse? Young master, what is an enchantment curse? Shuiwei asked with some confusion. The love captivating curse is a spell technique from the ancient times. It's said that a woman who is hit by the love captivating curse will be dead set on that man, and will never be disloyal again. However, the Tao of curses was too difficult. It was a taboo energy that pointed directly at the heaven Tao, and it had been lost a long time ago. I never thought that this bastard would actually be able to obtain the enchantment curse, and even plant it in the heavenly demon 7 illusory bead. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent as he looked at LV Mingrui. What? LV Mingrui, how dare you? Pangu and the others were also shocked, and their eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. LV Mingrue had eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts. He actually dared to use the love-captivating curse on the saintess. He deserved to die. In the eyes of many experts of the Pangu clan, trash like LV Mingrue was not even comparable to a strand of the saintess' hair. Only a peerless genius like Ling Xiao was worthy of the saintess. As the son of the second elder, LV Mingrue dared to do such a thing. The second elder's crime was also unforgivable. LV Mingrue, you deserve to die. Shui Wei's face instantly turned cold. She even felt some lingering fear in her heart. If Ling Xiao had not discovered in time that something was wrong, it would have been troublesome. The thought of being dead set on LV Mingrue after being hit by the love-captivating curse made Shui Wei want to die. Clang! The 6 paths of reincarnation sword was unsheathed. The light was blazing, and the sword chi exuded a cold murderous intent and sharpness. It landed on LV Mingrue's neck. LV Mingrue was immediately scared out of his wits. He hurriedly said, "Saintess, I'm innocent. I don't know anything about the love-captivating curse. This guy is slandering me. He has wronged me. Don't be fooled by him." LV Mingrue hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. He simply could not understand how Ling Xiao could know about the long-lost love-captivating curse. "Shui Wei, just kill this kind of scum. Don't dirty your sword. I'll do it for you." Ling Xiao smiled faintly and walked toward LV Mingrue. "Bastard, what are you doing? Get lost. If you dare to hurt me, my father will not let you off." LV Mingrue was so frightened that his whole body trembled. He pointed at Ling Xiao and said fiercely, "Rumble." At this moment, the Samsara temple on the mountain top roared angrily, causing the sky to tremble. "Who dares to hurt my son?" More than a dozen powerful figures came across the sky. They were extremely fast and arrived on the Void treasure ship almost instantly. Standing at the front were 3 old men with white hair and beards. They were all dressed in black robes and looked sage-like. They had extraordinary temperaments and were all titled supreme martial artists. The old man in the lead looked short and fat, but his face was extremely majestic. At this moment, his eyes were cold as he stared at Ling Xiao, full of cold killing intent. Standing behind them were more than a dozen powerful figures in black armor. They were the generals of the Samsara army, and all of them were supreme martial artists. Ling Xiao, that short and fat man, is the second elder LV Yen. He's the most protective. I'm afraid he won't let this matter rest. Zhu Biao transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao. "Father, save me. These bastards want to kill me. Help me kill them." LV Mingrue looked as though he had seen his savior. His eyes were filled with excitement as he hugged LV Yan's leg. "Trash!" LV Yan kicked him away, his eyes full of anger. This son of his was really incompetent. He couldn't even do such a simple thing well. In the end, he still had to clean up his mess. "Holy Maiden, how did Mingrue offend you? You actually let an outsider kill him?" LV Yan looked coldly at Shui Wei and asked. "Second elder, you came at the right time." LV Mingrue was up to no good. He planted a love charm in the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl, and wanted to harm me. According to the precepts, he deserves to die. What's wrong with me punishing him? Shui Wei looked indifferently at LV Yan and said, "Love charm? What love charm? What a joke. Holy Maiden, LV Mingrue and I fought the demon race together, and made great contributions. He obtained a heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl as a spoil of war, and wanted to give it to Holy Maiden. How can Holy Maiden treat a hero like this? I'm afraid everyone will be disappointed." Chapter 972. Second Elder. Many people here can testify that LV Mingrue is up to no good. As for the love charm in the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl, can't we verify it? Shui Wei said flatly. Verification? How? Let's not talk about whether the love charm is in the heavenly demon 7 illusory pearl. Even if it is, I suspect that he is the one who framed LV Mingrue. LV Yin sneered. As the second elder of the Samsara temple and the leader of the Samsara army, even if he refused to admit it, what could Shui Wei do to him? That's right. Saintess, don't be fooled by outsiders. LV Mingrue is loyal to you. He would never frame you. Saintess, I think that this kid is Yin Jiotian's spy. Why don't we just kill him? The third elder and the fourth elder who followed Lu Yan said with a smile, but they were obviously on Lu Yan's side. What do you think? Do you think that I have wronged LV Mingrue? Shui Wei was not angry. Her eyes were cold and calm as they fell on the generals of the Samsara army. The dozen or so generals of the Samsara army were the most powerful group of people in the Samsara army. They controlled 100,000 Samsara army soldiers. Saintess, we agree with the second elder. This kid must be Yin Jiotian's spy. Please kill him. Although the generals looked hesitant, they still stood firmly on LV Yan's side in the end. Bastard! How dare you threaten the Saintess? Pangajan, Pangawan, Pangayen and Pangajan were furious. They were loyal to the Saintess. How could they tolerate such a situation? The second elder, third elder, fourth elder, and the generals of the Samsara army dared to threaten the Saintess in public. Did they really think that they were in charge of the Samsara temple? Pangajan, don't frame us. How dare we threaten the Saintess? However, this kid is Yin Jiotian's spy. He deserves to die. If the Saintess doesn't want to kill him, we can do it for her. Lu Yan sneered. In his opinion, Shui Wei might be the Saintess of Samsara, but she was too weak to take control of the situation. Perhaps she would marry Yin Jiotian soon. Their first elder was severely injured and would not be able to control the situation. He LV Yan was the future master of the Samsara temple. In addition, LV Yan was in control of the Samsara army, so he naturally had less scruples when he spoke. He became even more unscrupulous. Brat, you're dead. No one can save you now, Lu Mingrue said as he looked at Ling Xiao with resentment. Shui Wei, do you know what kind of person I hate the most? Ling Xiao suddenly smiled, not even looking at LV Mingrue. I don't know, Shui Wei said obediently. What I hate the most are those sanctimonious and shameless people. He was obviously despicable and shameless, yet he still pretended to be righteous, thinking that he was the righteous one. When I meet such people, I will never reason with them. The only thing I can do is to kill them all. Ling Xiao said with a smile, but the chilling killing intent in his voice made everyone's heart tremble. Ha ha ha. Brother Ling is right. When you meet such sanctimonious bastards, it's best to kill them directly. Why do you need to reason with them? Pangajan roared with laughter. Although the Panga clan had not returned to the Samsara temple for a long time, their return this time disappointed Pangajan greatly. LV Yan and the other bastards deserved to die. How dare you? What did you say? Brat, how dare you insult the second elder? Don't think that you can leave the Samsara temple alive today. The generals of the Samsara army shouted with killing intent in their eyes, as if they had finally found an opportunity to ask for a reward. Brat, I don't know where you get the confidence to be so arrogant. However, when you come to the Samsara temple, you have to be humble. Today, I'll teach you how to behave. LV Yan sneered coldly. He could see that Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the 6th level supreme realm. He could easily crush Ling Xiao to death. He had not seen such an arrogant young man in a long time. Those who dared to be so arrogant in front of him were all dead. However, Ling Xiao did not even look at him. Instead, he smiled at Shui Wei and said, Shui Wei, these flies are so annoying. Shall I kill them all? Young master, please do as you wish. These flies do deserve to die, Shui Wei said with a smile. The two of them exchanged questions as if they did not care about LV Yan and the others at all. LV Yan was so angry that he laughed and said, Good. Very good. Brat, although I don't know what means you used to deceive the Saintess, you can go to hell now. Boom. LV Yan exuded an extremely cold and evil aura, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. The surrounding chaotic mist spread out. He slashed a palm blade toward Ling Xiao. It was like a black saber light that broke through the heavens and earth. It contained an extremely cold and sharp force. That saber light actually split into 3 in an instant, aiming at Ling Xiao's glabella, heart, and dantian respectively. It was incomparably ruthless. Triple Yin God Slaughtering Saber, LV Yan's peerless divine technique. With the Triple Yin God Slaughtering Saber, LV Yan could even kill the 3 great demon lords alone when he was conquering the demon race. Noisy. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed sharply as he slammed a palm down toward LV Yen. Rumble. This palm was incomparably vast, as if the chaos in the sky had merged into this palm. The palm print was surrounded by bright and mysterious runes, as if it was the hand of the celestial emperor, ruling over the life and death of all living things. The three saber lights transformed from the triple Een God slaughtering saber were instantly shattered by Ling Zhao's palm. The palm did not reduce in power and finally slapped LV Yan's face fiercely. Smack. A crisp sound was heard as LV Yan was sent flying by Ling Zhao's palm. He spat out a mouthful of teeth mixed with blood and half of his face was smashed. How terrifying was Ling Zhao's physical strength! The complete realm of the real dragon body was even stronger than that of the Panga clan. If not for the fact that the triple Een God slaughtering saber was an ancient divine skill that counteracted part of the palm power, LV Yan's head would have been smashed into smithereens. The third elder, the fourth elder, and the generals of the Samsara army were stunned. The second elder, LV Yan, had always been regarded as the most powerful person in the Samsara temple, second only to the Saintess and the Great Elder. However, his triple Een God slaughtering saber could not withstand Ling Zhao's palm, and was beaten so miserably. How could this be? Xue Wei, Zhu Biao, and the experts of the Panga clan were very calm, but there was a hint of mockery in their eyes. Even King Dusher, a demigod, was killed by Ling Xiao. What was LV Yen to him? How dare you hit me? Bastard, I'm going to kill you. There was a look of disbelief in Lu Yan's eyes. He was furious and felt greatly humiliated. In a fit of anger, an ancient black saber appeared in his hand. It exuded a powerful wave of divinity and slashed toward Ling Xiao. Chapter 973. Boom. The black saber shone brightly. It was a powerful divine weapon. Under Lu Yan's control, it emitted a dazzling saber radiance and slashed toward Ling Xiao. Lu Yan's furious saber strike contained his lifetime of cultivation, which made this saber strike extremely powerful. It was almost comparable to the combat strength of a deity. You're the one who deserves to die. A sharp light flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes. He threw a punch across the sky. The fist print was dazzling, like a golden divine sun. In an instant, 9 rainbow-colored divine dragons flew across the sky and coiled around his fist radiance, making this punch extremely terrifying. Crack! Golden lightning rose, and the saber radiance exploded. Ling Xiao resisted the divine weapon in Lu Yan's hand with his physical body. The fist print landed on the saber and sent it flying. How is this possible? Who the hell are you? Lu Yan's eyes were filled with horror. Ling Zhao's punch made his scalp tingle, and he felt the threat of death. How could a mere 6th-level Supreme Realm cultivator have such terrifying combat strength? Brat, don't hurt the second elder. The third elder and the fourth elder looked at each other. Cold killing intent flashed in their eyes as they charged towards Ling Xiao. They were determined to stand with Lu Yan. Naturally, they wouldn't watch Lu Yan die in Ling Zhao's hands. The third elder threw out a punch. The fist radiance was powerful and vast, containing a violent force. It went straight for Ling Zhao's head. The fourth elder struck out with his palm. Vigorous palm energy gushed out like a vast ocean. It contained a fluctuation that could destroy everything, and it pressed down on Ling Xiao. Boom. Ling Zhao's eyes were calm. He didn't care about the third and fourth elders at all. The indestructible fist print broke through the saber radiance and instantly blasted on Lu Yan's chest. Boom. Lu Yan's eyes were filled with disbelief. His body suddenly exploded and turned into a bloody mist. You're courting death. The third and fourth elders' eyes were cold. The terrifying fist print and palm print instantly came from behind and blasted on Ling Zhao's body. Ling Xiao actually didn't dodge or evade, forcefully receiving their attack. Crack! It was as if golden runes had exploded, and a majestic qi and blood had coiled around Ling Zhao's body like a dragon. It was as if the third and fourth elders had struck an indestructible mountain, and the sound of metal colliding rang out. Not only had they not injured Ling Xiao in the slightest, but their qi and blood had instead been shaken by the terrifying power. This is impossible. How can your body be so strong? The expressions of the third elder and the fourth elder changed drastically. Their attacks could even shatter a supreme weapon. Yet Ling Xiao's physical body was actually stronger than a supreme weapon? Was this a human or a monster? Ling Xiao turned around and looked at the third elder and fourth elder calmly. The two of them shuddered and tried to back away without thinking. Since you are so loyal to the second elder, then die with him. Ling Xiao said indifferently as he pointed his finger at Yi Futian. The indestructible finger of the war god locked onto the third elder, and the fourth elder like a dazzling Milky Way. Although the two of them were titled paragons, their combat strength was not as strong as Lu Yan's. How could they block Ling Xiao's attack? Puff. Puff. The third elder and the fourth elder's foreheads exploded, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Then their heads, bodies, and limbs exploded. With one finger, the two elders' bodies were completely destroyed. Buzz. The King Heaven Devourer cauldron shone brightly, and a vast devouring power erupted, swallowing the primordial spirits of Lu Yan, the third elder, and the fourth elder. Little bastard, you deserve to die. Yin Jiotian will not let you go. He will avenge me. Lu Yan's resentful voice rang out from the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, filled with rage and unwillingness. You really are Yin Jiotian's spy. But don't worry, he will be here soon to accompany you. Ling Xiao said indifferently, completely suppressing the three primordial spirits. However, what surprised Ling Xiao was that Lu Yan's primordial spirit was not complete, as if half of it had been separated. Ling Xiao was afraid that this guy would not die so easily. However, Ling Xiao could vaguely sense that the other primordial spirit was in a space-time very far away from here. Perhaps it was with Yin Jiotian, but Ling Xiao ignored it. Seeing how Ling Xiao killed the three elders so easily, the generals of the Samsara army were scared silly, and their eyes were filled with horror. At this moment, Ling Xiao was like a malefic star in their eyes. The three elders, who had such powerful cultivation and battle prowess, were actually killed as easily as ants in his hands. Their hearts were filled with regret, and they wanted to slap themselves a few times for being stupid enough to stand on Lu Yan's side. It seemed that the Holy Maiden would not let them go. Holy Maiden, please spare us. We were also deceived by Lu Yan. He is a traitor and deserves to die. Yes, Holy Maiden, we were wrong. Please be magnanimous and don't lower yourself to our level. Holy Maiden, please spare us. The generals of the Samsara army were usually iron-blooded and had killed many people. However, when it came to life and death, each of them was more spineless than the other. Young master, how do you think we should deal with them? Shuewei ignored those people and looked at Ling Xiao with a smile. Shuewei, you are the Holy Maiden. You can deal with them yourself. However, it is indeed a pity to kill them. Why don't you let them sacrifice a strand of their primordial spirits to redeem themselves? Ling Xiao said indifferently. All right. Shuewei nodded and looked at the generals of the Samsara army. You colluded with Lu Yan and rebelled against your superiors. Your crimes are unforgivable. However, seeing that you have made a lot of contributions to the demon clan over the years, I will allow you to redeem yourselves. Now hand over a strand of your primordial spirits. If you dare to do it again, you will be executed immediately. Thank you, Holy Maiden, thank you. We promise that we will never do it again. The generals felt as if they had been pardoned and handed over a strand of their primordial spirits. Although they would lose their freedom and their lives would be in Shuewei's control, it was still better than losing their lives. Moreover, although the Holy Maiden was cold, she was the kindest. Even if they handed over a strand of their primordial spirits to her, no one would resist. Ling Xiao, you will die a horrible death. Yin Jiotian will not let you go, ha ha. After Lu Yan was killed by Ling Xiao, Lu Mingrui was completely scared out of his wits. At this moment, he suddenly burst out laughing and looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of hatred. Boy, are you still unrepentant? You are indeed an ingrate. Die. Peng Gazhang glared at him and sneered. Chapter 974. The second elder, third elder, and fourth elder had been killed, and the generals had surrendered their primordial spirits. From then on, their lives were in Shuewei's hands. The Samsara temple seemed to be in grave danger, but in the face of absolute power, It was all resolved. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao and Xuewei with eyes full of respect. Xuewei, the saintess, had only been in the Samsara temple for 10 years. She rarely fought. Although she was cold, she was very kind. Therefore, many people in the Samsara temple were not afraid of her. Even people like LV Mingrui had dared to plot against her. However, the saintess had found a fiend. Ling Xiao had become famous after this battle. He had completely shocked the people of the Samsara temple. The return of the experts from the Pangu clan made the people of the Samsara temple even more respectful of Xuewei. They knew that with Ling Xiao and the experts from the Pangu clan around, the saintess would be able to completely control the Samsara temple. Saintess, the great elder has been injured by the demon god. He's in critical condition. Go and take a look, an armored general reported to Xuewei. The great elder has been injured by the demon god? All right, I'll go now. Xuewei's expression changed. She looked worried as she flew towards the Samsara temple with Ling Xiao. Chaotic mist swirled around the top of the mountain. The mysterious power of La Rose. A huge bronze temple sat cross-legged at the top of the mountain, exuding an ancient and mysterious aura. Even a titled supreme being would tremble in front of this bronze temple. It was as if they were ants looking up at a divine dragon. They felt small and insignificant. A bronze temple? Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. This bronze temple was almost the same as the one he had seen in the 8 Wildernesses region, the War God continent, and the Cave of Time. The vast and majestic aura suppressed everything. It exuded an eternal aura. What is the connection between these bronze temples and the Scarlet Dragon War God? What are the skeletal dragons and skeletal phoenixes pulling the huge coffins for? Ling Xiao was puzzled. He suddenly thought of the reincarnation ceremony that was held once every 10,000 years. He had a strong premonition that the reincarnation ceremony would once again see the scene of a dragon and phoenix pulling a coffin. Xuewei and Ling Xiao entered the Divine Bronze Palace together. Inside the Divine Bronze Palace, there were many armored and bloodied soldiers of the Samsara army, kneeling in front of a white jade bed. A middle-aged Taoist with white hair and beard was lying on the white jade bed. He wore a yin-yang Taoist robe and had an otherworldly temperament. His face was compassionate. However, at this moment, his entire body was shrouded in black demonic light. His face was pale, and there was a black claw mark on his chest. Streams of black demonic chi spread out, turning his entire body pitch black. Only his head emitted a green light, which was still resisting the demonic chi with all its might. Ling Xiao could see that if he waited for the demonic chi to completely destroy the green light, the demonic chi would penetrate deep into his sea of consciousness and destroy his primordial spirit. At that time, even if the immortal king descended to the mortal world, he would not be able to save him. The saintess is back. Greetings to the saintess. Saintess, please save the great elder. In order to save us, he personally brought up the rear and was injured by the demon god. Saintess, the great elder can't hold on much longer. When the soldiers of the Samsara army saw Xuewei, their eyes were filled with excitement. These were the great elder's most loyal subordinates. Even though the second elder, Lu Yan, was powerful and had taken over the Samsara army, they did not leave. They had always been by the great elder's side. Let me take a look. Xuewei's eyes were solemn as she quickly walked over to check on the great elder's injuries. A ray of divine light shot from Xuewei's fingertip into the great elder's body. Immediately, the great elder's body trembled. Black demonic chi emerged and formed a huge demon god shadow in the void. It looked extremely ferocious and its eyes were filled with evil. Haha. Samsara temple, if it weren't for you bastards, the sacred tribe would have escaped long ago. This old bastard is doomed. None of you can save him. When the sacred tribe escapes, it will be the time to trample over the Samsara temple. A loud roar resounded through the Samsara temple, bringing with it an extremely arrogant wave of energy. You're courting death. A sharp light flashed in Xuewei's eyes as she unsheathed the 6 paths of reincarnation sword. A sharp sword chi swept across the sky and instantly shattered the demon god shadow. Young master, this is the demon god of the Black Sky Demon clan, the Black Sky Demon god. He has planted the Black Sky Deathly Chi in the great elder's body. What should we do? Shui Wei's eyes revealed a trace of worry. The black sky deathly qi was extremely domineering and could take away one's essence, blood, primordial spirit, and lifespan. Countless people from the Samsara temple had died in the black sky deathly qi. If the great elder was not strong enough, he would not have been able to hold on for so long. Don't worry, let me try. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he came to the great elder's side. Boom. Ling Zhao's palm struck the great elder's chest. A golden vortex appeared in the center of his palm, exuding an extremely powerful devouring power. Ling Zhao activated the heaven-devouring secret skill in an attempt to completely devour and refine the black sky deathly qi. Rumble. Ling Zhao felt as though he had poked a hornet's nest. Boundless black sky deathly qi rose, containing the power of extermination and stillness. It wanted to pounce on Ling Zhao. The black sky deathly qi seemed to contain some kind of mysterious power of law. Although Ling Zhao's heaven-devouring secret skill could refine it, the process was extremely slow. Moreover, Ling Zhao could faintly feel that there was a black sky demon seed in the great elder's body that was continuously releasing black sky deathly qi. The power of the black sky demon god? It is indeed domineering. Unfortunately, you have fallen into my hands. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, but his expression remained calm. Although the heaven-devouring secret skill could not deal with the black sky deathly qi, Ling Zhao still had the wordless heavenly book, which was the greatest nemesis of the extraterrestrial demons. Buzz. Ling Zhao's glabella lit up, and beams of dazzling light shot out like divine chains. They turned into a dazzling devouring vortex, and began to devour the black sky deathly qi in a frenzy. The black sky deathly qi seemed to have sensed the aura of the wordless heavenly book, and was extremely frightened. It immediately wanted to retreat into the great elder's body. However, how could Ling Zhao let it escape just like that? Boom. Beams of light from the wordless heavenly book penetrated deep into the great elder's body like tentacles, and began to devour the black sky deathly qi in a frenzy. Under the devouring of the wordless heavenly book, the black sky deathly qi could not resist at all. It was devoured and refined one after another. Chapter 975. Where do you think you're going? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. If he was not wrong, this black pearl was the dark sky demonic seed, the source of the dark sky demonic god's power. It had been left in the first elder's body, absorbing his life force. It seemed to be very intelligent and wanted to escape when it sensed danger. Swoosh. A few beams of light shot out from between Ling Zhao's eyebrows and wrapped around the dark sky demon seed. Then, the dark sky demon seed was pulled into the wordless heaven book and completely refined. Rumble. After the dark sky demon seed was refined, it turned into a majestic force that surged into Ling Zhao's body. Roar. Brat, I'll remember you. You've ruined my plan. I won't let you go. A demon god's shadow was struggling violently in the wordless heaven book. Its eyes were filled with cold killing intent and anger. The power contained in the dark sky demon seed was very strong. After it was refined, the power that was fed back to Ling Zhao allowed his cultivation to break through one level in an instant. 7th level Supreme Realm. Ling Zhao's body exuded an extremely strong aura. The strong wind blew, causing the Samsara army soldiers in the Samsara temple to stagger and lose their balance. Realization dawned on Ling Zhao. It turned out that the Black Sky Demon Seed was part of the Black Sky Demonic God scheme. With the Dark Sky Demon's power, he could easily kill the Great Elder. However, he only injured the Great Elder, so that he could use the Great Elder as a cauldron to nurture the Dark Sky Demon Seed. The Dark Sky Demon Seed contained a strand of the Dark Sky Demon God's avatar. Once the Dark Sky Demon Seed completely devoured the Great Elder's vitality, the Dark Sky Demon God would be able to use the Dark Sky Demon Seed to send a projection avatar to the Samsara temple. Ling Zhao guessed that Dark Sky Demon was a real god spirit. He was not someone a half-step god spirit like King Dusher could compare with. Even if it was just a projection, it would have the power of a half-step god spirit. If that happened, the Samsara temple would be in real danger. Ling Zhao told Shui Wei about his conjecture, and Shui Wei's expression turned serious. Young master, the Dark Sky Demon is truly vicious. If it weren't for you, The Great Elder would have been killed and the Samsara Temple would have been destroyed. Shuewei looked at Ling Xiao and smiled. Her beautiful eyes were filled with extraordinary splendor. The Dark Sky Demon is indeed very troublesome. Even if we destroy the Dark Sky Demon seed this time, I'm afraid he will think of other ways. Don't go on a punitive expedition against the demon race for the time being. In a few, bring me to the place where the demon race is sealed. Let's see if we can get rid of these demon bastards once and for all. A sharp glint appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes. All right. Shuewei nodded with a smile. After the Dark Sky Demon seed in the first elder's body was removed, although his vitality was greatly injured, his life was no longer in any danger. After Shuewei gave him the sacred healing medicine, she instructed everyone to take good care of the first elder before leaving with Ling Xiao. The Origin Sea, the sealed land of the demon race. This was an extremely sturdy space. Even a demon god would not be able to break through the space barrier and leave this place. The sealed land was also a prison where countless ancient great demons were imprisoned. The sky was dark and the earth was covered in yellow sand. There was no greenery at all. It looked like a barren land without even the slightest trace of spiritual energy. In a huge abyss, black demonic chi gushed out, and there were countless mysterious runes that formed an extremely powerful chain that pierced through a terrifying figure. Brat, I've remembered your aura. How dare you refine my Dark Sky Demon seed? When I escape, I'll make sure you die without a burial place. I swear. The deafening roar shook the heavens. The black demon chi churned violently and formed various mysterious demon gods. Outside the abyss, countless demon race experts were trembling in fear. They knelt before the abyss, their eyes filled with reverence. The Empire of Nine Nether. In the mysterious chaotic space, a white-robed youth floated. He looked pale and had no aura, but his body exuded a mysterious wave. Boom. A vast aura emanated from the white-robed youth. He opened his eyes instantly. His cold eyes seemed to be able to pierce through the void. Ling Xiao, Shuewei, the Pangu clan, the Samsara Temple. I'll make you beg for death. Only then can I vent my hatred. The white-robed youth's eyes were filled with hatred as he roared crazily. Luyan, are you satisfied with this body? An indifferent and dignified voice rang out. In front of the white-robed young man, chaotic mist spread out and a mysterious figure appeared. A pair of deep and resplendent eyes looked at the white-robed young man. Thank you, Your Majesty. This born Taoism aptitude has reached the sovereign realm. I believe that it won't be long before my cultivation level is completely restored. Please avenge me, Your Majesty. During the Samsara ceremony, I'll help Your Majesty control the Samsara Temple. The white-robed youth bowed respectfully to the figure. It turned out that the white-robed youth was the second elder, Lu Yan. He had already split his primordial spirit into two. After his original body in the Samsara Temple was killed by Ling Xiao, his primordial spirit possessed the body of the white-robed youth with the help of Yin Jiutian, and was reborn. Good. Very good. Ling Xiao's combat strength is strong, but he's not a threat. He'll definitely die during the Samsara ceremony. This time, I'll take complete control of the Samsara Temple. I'll kill anyone who stands in my way, Yin Jiutian said indifferently. His voice contained a cold, murderous intent. Yes, Lu Yan's heart skipped a beat. He lowered his head respectfully and replied. Roar. A huge silver dragon that was thousands of feet long flew across the sky. Its body emitted dazzling silver lightning. The dragon's aura filled the air as it roared. Young master, this is the silver-ringed lightning snake you gave me. I found the inner elixir of an immemorial thunder dragon for it. It has become a real immemorial thunder dragon, and is extremely powerful. Little Silver, come here. Shuewei and Ling Xiao stood at the top of the mountain, surrounded by a sea of chaotic clouds. The silver dragon shuttled through the sea of clouds like a bolt of silver lightning. It was extremely fast. Whoosh. Hearing Shuewei calling for it, the silver dragon flew across the sky. With a flash of light, it turned into a 1-foot-long silver snake, and landed in Shuewei's palm. Its eyes were full of joy as it rubbed against Shuewei's palm intimately. Sister Shuewei, who is this guy? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.